It may be a mild day outside, but inside Cousins Gymnasium, the temperature is reaching fever pitch here. Within Cousins Gymnasium, the temperature is sweltering. That may be a result of them leaving the heating on, or it may be a result of this fiery matchup between two very solid teams we have here today. As the Tufts University Jumbos, the number 20 team in the nation, take on the number 12 team, Johnson and Wales, in the Wildcats. And Ellie, we saw in the earlier game a good game between Amherst and Babson in which the former Lord Jeffs triumphed 88-76. You think we'll see a good game here today?
I sure hope so, Charlie. It's so good to be here with you. I think all these fans today, they've got so much energy. I think the temperature in the building might be just because we've never had this many fans in here. Charlie, this is a huge game for both teams. Johnson Wales has never made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. In fact, they've never made it to the NCAA tournament at all. No one from the GNAC, their conference, has. And Tufts has never hosted a game here in the NCAAs at home. The men's team hasn't. So this is a huge game for both teams. My palms are sweaty just thinking about it, Charlie.
Same here, Elliot.
So exciting.
Do you have some players that you think are going to be a big part of this game?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I do, Charlie. For both teams, it starts with Johnson and Wales on offense with Corey Greenaway and Tom Garrick. These guys are a 1-2 duo. They can really do it all. Greenaway had 30 points and 7th-round NCAA matchup. Tom Garrick, one of the best three-point shooters in the nation. They both can do it all. And the Wildcats are going to be pressing all day, Charlie, so expect these guys. They got to be in good shape. And they're going to take it to the Jumbos here today. Both can rebound. Pass the ball. Greenaway actually is leading the team in rebounds despite only being 6'3". And for Tufts, of course, you've got some star players as well. It starts with the big man down low, Tom Pileski. At 6'8", 240 pounds, he is a force to be reckoned with. He had 8 blocks and 5 blocks respectively in Tufts' last 2 NCAA tournament games, so expect him to protect the glass today. And then, of course, on offense, it's Stephen Haladina. The senior has been picking up his play as the year has gone on. He's got 11 points per game. He had 18 points in Tufts' last game against Skidmore. So look for both of these guys to lead their team here at home today in front of a raucous crowd.
And a big thing that I noticed, Elliot, going into this game, looking at it from a statistical standpoint, is that this is going to be a really big matchup between two high-octane offenses. Both teams are Tufts University is averaging 85.9 points per game. Meanwhile, Johnson and Wales have topped that by 4 points. They're averaging 89.9 up to 90 points per game. But then the big thing is defense, isn't it, Elliot?
That's right. Defense is going to be huge for these teams. But I was talking to Matt Noonan before the game, and he said this game's going to be a track meet. And I think that's exactly right. Coach Bob Sheldon and the Jumbos, they like to use the phrase, we out. They get the rebound, they're making an outlet pass, and they're out. They're running the ball. But Johnson and Wales is looking to do the same thing. They're going to be bringing the full court press all game. They got some speedy, athletic players who can really move around the floor. Expect this to be a high-scoring affair, as you said.
And you noticed something, Elliot, when you were watching some tape of the Tufts men's basketball team that they've been doing on defense to try and get their points per game allowed stat down, haven't you?
That's right, Charlie. I've been doing my homework. I got a little bit of insight here on the Tufts, what they do on defense. You see they have Tom Pileski, the big fella, inside, and they've got 4 guards who are very interchangeable on defense. That's part of their defensive scheme, and it's absolutely integral to what they do. So you see here how they switch on defense. You see the Skidmore player going around. We see 2 Tufts players are going to need to switch on this play. They do easily. And then one more switch. They do it so effortlessly. They're able to communicate. Watch Haladina and Spataford switch one more time on this play. They ended up getting a turnover, and the ball went the other way. That's how they beat Southern Vermont in the first round NCAA action here.
And let's transition over to the other side of the court here with Johnson and Wales. On defense, you were saying before the game, there's one real question that they have defensively, don't they?
Yeah, it's who's going to guard Tom Pileski, the big guy on the inside. Johnson Wales doesn't have a true center on the roster. They have Michael Kaiser listed as center, but he's only 6'2". I'll be interested to see how they guard Pileski. But on the opposite end of the court, Charlie, it's just as big of a problem for the Jumbos. How does Bob Sheldon account for the athleticism of Johnson and Wales? Tom Pileski is going to have to do some defending on the perimeter, and I'm not sure if he's used to that. I would expect, Charlie, I wouldn't be surprised if Tufts goes zone here, keeping Pileski on the inside, defending the glass against some of these perimeter attacks. They're definitely going to be driving and dishing. Our Johnson and Wales, you see Pileski there, the big fella, number 2. as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they go zone. But on defense for Johnson and Wales, expect the press and the trap. We see Bob Sheldon here. Charlie, some people think that Cousins Gymnasium should be called the Shell Dome.
I think one of those people specifically is Bob Sheldon. He said so in an interview with D3Hoops.com, Hoopsville blog, this past Sunday after they found out that they were hosting this regional. Some call it the Shell Dome, some call it the Jumbo Dome, some others call it Cousins Gymnasium, which is its given name. But Bob Sheldon, this is his first time back in the Sweet 16 in 10 years. The 2005-2006 season, the Tufts Jumbos made it all the way here. They didn't host, which we'll explain later as the game goes on, but they were then defeated in this round. This is Sheldon's big task tonight, is proving that in his 28th season he can take these Jumbos past where he had been.
That's right, Charlie. You saw Coach Sheldon had a smile on his face before this game for all these players. Doesn't matter who comes out on top at the end of today. This is so much fun. They've been preparing their entire lives for this. Their family and friends have come out to see them. And for both teams, all the coaches, all the fans, this is just so exciting. So we're so glad you're here with us on Tufts JumboCast. Once again, I'm Elliot Cobb alongside Charlie Driver. We are so excited to be here with you for NCAA Division III action. The game is so pure, Charlie. These D3, they really are student athletes. But it's so nice to be able to see them compete at the highest level here.
It is. It's very weird seeing some of these athletes going to the same dining halls that I go to and then seeing them walking around the campus. And I'm sure it would be the same way for anyone who goes to Johnson and Wales, seeing a Michael Kaiser walking around the quad on a Saturday morning, getting ready for a game later that day. But yeah, it'll be a very exciting matchup between two very good teams here. Johnson and Wales 28-2 on the season, that's a school record, and the Tufts Jumbos 22-6 on the year. So both teams very accomplished in the win column, very accomplished on the court with their stats, and we should have a great game in store. We're going to take a break here to get the national anthem, as we see Wildcat there. Very muscular Wildcat. Maybe he should be playing center against Tom Pileski tonight.
Maybe he's going to the gym there, the Wildcat. Good for him. He's been working on the tries, the buys. So such good definition there, and he's been taking dancing lessons apparently as well.
And so yeah, with about 30 seconds to go until we can officially get this game underway with the national anthem, we're going to take a break and get the lineups and the anthems. Stay with us. And as time expires, we'll actually be going straight to the lineups. NCAA rules dictate that if you have a doubleheader, as we did today with Amherst victory early in the day, you don't have to do the national anthem the second time.
You've been reading up on the rule book, Charlie, I see.
I think it's a holdover from my soccer days, Elliot. I don't have the NCAA rules totally memorized, although maybe I should by this point.
Our director, Jake, sent us the NCAA rules before the game. It was a 69-page, or I think like a 120-page PDF. Disgracefully, I didn't read the whole thing. But,
yeah, I'm afraid I shirked on my homework there too, Elliot. And we're going to get the lineups here. We're going to start with the Tufts Jumbos by the look of it. Johnson and Wales. Here's the center, number 00, Michael Kaiser. And as you said, Elliot, only 6'2", so it's going to be interesting how he plays defense against this tall Tufts lineup.
Yeah, but you can't say he's not tough, Charlie. He was in the Marine Corps for 8 years. He's built like a look at him. Look at Pileski and Kaiser shaking hands there.
And there's Tom Pileski, center for Tufts. Tufts actually only plays with centers and guards. They don't have any forwards, Elliot. Here's number 2, Anthony Jernigan, a transfer a few years ago. He's leading the country with 3.29 steals a game.
And he really gets after it on the defensive end, Charlie.
Here's number 3, Ryan Spadaford, senior tri-captain for the Tufts Jumbos, and another person we couldn't single out on the double graphic, but he's been a big part of Tufts' success. Here's Clayton Roker from New City, the senior, averaging 6.5 points per game, but scored 13 last week for the Wildcats' win over Plattsburgh State. Here's number 4, Everett Dayton. He's been filling in the absence of Vinny Pace, who Tufts lost with about 10 seconds gone in their first round game. Here's the 6'5" senior Tom Garrick, second leading scorer in the GNAC conference behind his teammate.
That's right. He's got 22 points a game, Charlie, and he's dangerous from beyond the arc. Look for Garrick to be shooting long balls today.
And here's another senior tri-captain, Ryan Haladina. He scored the, Stephen Haladina, who scored his 1,000th point in the NSCAC tournament play earlier. And here's Corey Greenaway, the leading scorer in the GNAC, passing his teammate Garrick, as I mentioned earlier, and he'll be the focal point for this offense.
Yeah, I like both teams are shaking hands before the game, Charlie. But I assure you, as soon as that ball is tipped, it's going to be bad blood between these two teams. Both of them want to advance very badly. As we said, Tufts has never hosted an NCAA men's game at home, so this is a huge game for them. And then on the other side, Johnson and Wales has never been to the Sweet 16 before, so both teams desperately want this win.
And the final player in the starting five, my mind's still in soccer, is Tariq Smith for Tufts. And you know, Elliot, you say it's bad blood, but the real thing that will be on the mind of these players is writing their name. To quote Taylor Swift there, they're going to want to write their name in Jumbo's history or in Wildcats history by getting a historic victory and leading their team here today in Cousins Gymnasium.
Yeah, well, Charlie, if we're doing a Taylor Swift theme here, I think we're the girl wearing T-shirt on the bleachers here today, as opposed to the cheer captain who wears short skirts. Because, Charlie, for you and me, basketball's a love story, so it's good to be here with you. And thanks to for all of you at home. My cameraman is shaking his head at me right now. He didn't like that reference. Thank you. Thanks all of us for joining us here today. And should be an exciting game.
Here's the tip. It's Garrick, 6'5", against Tom Pileski, who is, I believe, 6'8", so a 3-inch advantage for the Jumbo. And he'll win the tip with that advantage. But it soon falls right to number 4, Clayton Roker.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Tufts goes zone here to begin with.
3 attempt from Garrick. Nothing but net. Or a little rim there. Tom Garrick getting his team on the board here.
And
3 points.
Here's the full court press from the Wildcats. I'm very interested to see this. I love it, Charlie. A full court, 4-court pressure from a team. You don't often see that.
And a
Tufts
steal
struggling
there
with
almost.
it.
Steal there almost from number 2, Anthony Jernigan, who I mentioned is the steals leader. Spadaford dishes it out to Dayton, but tipped there by Roker. Smith with it. There's Pileski. And there's 2 points for the Jumbos, so early on it's 3-2 with under a minute gone.
Yeah, Roker loses 6 inches in that matchup, but you can see Tufts is a little hurried on offense.
And there's Jernigan, dishes it out to number 0, and that's Michael Kaiser making no mistakes and dunking that down. And the energy is palpable here, isn't it, Elliot?
Oh, man, the crowd is really getting into it. I love the full court pressure from the Wildcats here.
Haladina from 3, making no mistakes.
It is a track meet, Charlie. We got 10 points already, almost only a minute gone in this game. It's a race to 90.
And here's Corey Greenaway. Gives it to his teammate Garrick. Tries of defense, but nothing doing as Garrick slides through that defense for 2 points.
Boy, little in the way of defense early here, Charlie. Both teams happy to let offenses score. Just 2 high-powered offenses, I think.
Here's Tariq Smith driving. He'll lay that up. And that looks like an offensive foul on Tariq Smith, who can't believe what he's seeing.
Yeah, that's good defense there. Looks like Michael Kaiser stepping in and taking it. He just had the good position there. Boy, Tufts really has to settle down here. They're excited. They're playing in front of their biggest home crowd of the year, but they got to settle down. Johnson & Wales wants them to speed up their offense, and they want Tufts to be a little hectic on offense, but Tufts has to take care of the ball and play their game.
And here's Jernigan now with the ball. There's Garrick. Cries of defense resounding around the Shell Dome, as many would call it, for Coach Bob Sheldon.
Not that many.
I use many liberally as Tom Garrick misses that shot.
We use everything liberally here at Tufts, maybe.
It's one of those liberal arts things. There's Pileski. Dayton jumping pass to Haladina and rejected, but the foul there on Stephen Haladina.
One big thing for Tufts on defense, you saw Tom Pileski guarding Michael Kaiser here as we see the dish from Dayton, the foul on the play. Boy, Kaiser is 6'2", but he can get up. You saw his hand approaching the top of the square on the backboard there as we see Haladina attempt his first foul shot.
And he'll make that. Just as we see number 3 enter the game, that's Jarrell Lawson for the Wildcats here, the sophomore from Providence, Rhode Island. And that'll be number 0, Michael Kaiser, coming out of that game.
Yeah, Lawson's a little taller than Kaiser. Kaiser getting some fouls early here.
And that's now 5 guards on the floor for the Wildcats, Elliot, as Haladina takes his second and makes his second.
That's the way they like to play, though, Charlie. They get up and down. All these guys can play. They can all get to the rim. It's fun to watch.
And here again is Jernigan. Dishes it to Garrick. Garrick to the basket. Off the rim. Dayton on the rebound.
Good strong board from Everett Dayton. Good to see from the youngster.
Tariq Smith using his physicality
The
there.
crowd is loving it, Charlie. Tariq Smith charging up this Cousins Gym audience.
And a little misplay there from Jernigan, and here's Tariq Smith on the counterattack. And he'll be fouled there. Sliding all the way down, but he'll be more than happy with that, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, it was Johnson and Wales who was a little rushed on that possession. Tufts able to speed him up on offense. Love the energy from both sides here today, Charlie. It's really palpable. It's an electric atmosphere. This is NCAA basketball at its finest.
And Elliot, I'm sure you've seen more Tufts basketball games than I have, but is this the greatest atmosphere that you've seen Cousins Gymnasium have in your time here?
Oh, by far, Charlie. I mean, you said it earlier, Tufts hasn't made the NCAA tournament since the 2005-2006 season. I think all the fans here today are just thirsty for some good basketball action.
And it should be mentioned they weren't able to host in that 2005-2006 campaign. So this is the first time that they've had anything like this.
That's
as
right.
Tariq Smith makes that free throw.
And it's just good for Bob Sheldon and his staff. They've been here a lot of years, and it's good for them to finally see their hard work pay off. They've gone through a lot of losing seasons. There's Coach Sheldon. So you got to believe he's excited about this game.
And Tariq Smith will go 2 of 2 there. 11-7 with about 3 minutes gone in this game.
The key for Tufts on defense is Pileski guarding the rim.
And there's Garrick, and he'll be rejected by Pileski, but get the second chance point.
Tufts is using Pileski in the press break here. Hasn't gone awry yet, although Spatafor gets the ball stolen.
And that's a steal there from number 3, Jarrell Lawson. Here's Garrick again. And that won't go. Roca gives it back out to Garrick. And Garrick's been the main man here. He's almost at double figures here for the Wildcats.
That's right. Garrick can hit from the outside. There's no mistaking that. Charlie, he'll do it all day. Tufts needs to get a hand up here on him.
Spataford from 3. Nothing going. Rebound there by Jarrell Lawson. And Lawson will take it all the way and get rejected by Tom Pileski. Pileski had 13 blocks in his in the last weekend where Tufts defeated Skidmore, and
yeah, you saw him biding his time. Shot blocking is all about patience. He just read the defender, was able to put it out of bounds. Look at Everett Dayton, Charlie, going into the bench there. He's excited about getting his first postseason start.
And there's Garrick again. Nothing going from that 3 attempt, though. So, yeah, Tom Garrick already at 10 points, Elliot. But Corey Greenaway with none.
Yeah, I mean, if Garrick's open on the outside of the arc, you give him the shot.
And we're going to see a sub coming in a sec. That's going to be Robert Lewis coming in for the Wildcats. And on the other end, we're going to have a jumbo substitution, too, Ben Engvall bites the dust. Engvall coming into this game for Spataford for the Jumbos. And that'll be a timeout here. That'll be our first media timeout.
I got to catch my breath, Charlie. It's going back and forth here, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I love the way these two teams are playing. This is exciting basketball.
And seeing their Vincent pace, Tufts really hasn't missed their leading scorer here today in Cousins Gymnasium so far, have they?
Well, I mean, but you look at the pace that they're playing at today, no pun intended, and you got to believe that these guys are tired already and that they're going to be even more tired as this game wears on. So you got to believe Tufts would want their leading scorer in there. He's at 6'5". He's a long defender. He's got a lot of length. Tufts really missing him today to guard some of these athletic offensive weapons for Johnson and Wales. It's tough to have him out of the game. You see him on crutches there. It's just got to be devastating for the sophomore. He's had his breakout season. He leads the team to the finals. They're in the NCAA tournament. He goes down, as you said, 10 minutes into their first game.
Yeah, that was their first round game against Southern Vermont College, and perhaps that threw him off a bit because they were only able to beat the Mountaineers by 2 points to a score of 78-76.
That's right. But you can't say enough about Everett Dayton and Ben Engvall. They've come in. for Vincent Pace. They've done an excellent job filling in. We've seen Dayton play like a real veteran out there. He got the start today. But you just feel bad for Vincent Pace.
And that's Drew Madsen now on the court taking some minutes to give Tom Pileski a break.
We've got Robert Lewis in the game for the first time also for the Wildcats.
And that could be a cue that the Wildcats are trying for a better defense.
Here's the trap.
That's out to Tariq. Smith will pass it over to Dayton. Dayton to Haladini. And Haladini will try the layup, but nothing going, and that'll be a foul against number 11.
I like the way Johnson Wales is playing aggressive defense here, Charlie. Saw Robert Lewis trap aggressively right off of the first pass of the possession. Tufts wasn't able to find the open man in time.
And there's Everett Dayton leaving the game to be replaced by Ethan Feldman, the freshman, who in the game against Skidmore kicked in a really important 14 points over his 17-minute spell, and he went 4 for 5 from the three-point line. So that could be a good thing for them going forward for the Jumbos. Block attempt by Madsen missing, but Tariq Smith will wind up with the ball.
I think that's Corey Greenaway's first field goal here today. Johnson Wales will want to get him going.
And there's Feldman from just inside the line by the looks of it, and he'll drain that long two.
Boy, he doesn't take long to warm up, does he, Charlie?
Not at all, Elliot. And here is number 2, and that is Anthony Jernigan.
He's hot off the bench.
Here's
Quick heat,
Jernigan
he's a hot pocket, Charlie. Just put him in the microwave.
And he's heating up here as he makes that long distance two.
Jernigan there showing his range. A nice step back there.
Here's Ben Engvall. That's back to Ethan Feldman.
Tufts doing a really nice job breaking the press so far.
And Engvall all the way to the basket, and he'll get that to go. 15-14 Tufts, around 6 minutes gone in the first half. And everyone for the Jumbos kicking in here. And that's Greenaway, but he won't get that to go. So still a rough start for the Westchester County native.
Yeah, he's letting his teammates get in on the action here. Only taking 2 field goals so far.
There's Engvall.
And one.
And he'll take that all day.
2 straight excellent drives to the rim by Ben Engvall. I like the way he's being aggressive here.
And we'll see Madsen, Haladini, and Smith leave the game for Dayton, Spadaford, and Pileski.
Jarrell Lawson tried to get in the way, but his feet were moving just the slightest bit. He's called for the block. Great move from Engvall. Charlie, key to this game is going to be Tufts' depth here. They're getting Feldman into the action. He's 1 for 1 from the field. Engvall's playing well off the bench. Johnson Wales obviously likes to play an up-tempo game. How is Tufts going to deal with this as the clock keeps ticking? They're going to get tired. They got to keep their heads in it.
And only a 2-point play there for Ben Engvall. So he'll lose a bit of his 66.7 free throw shooting. And here is Jernigan. Excuse me, yes, Jernigan. And a long 3 attempt from Lawson, nothing going. Engvall on the rebound.
Yeah, that's a shot Tom Garrett can hit, but
and there's some
maybe
sneakiness from Jernigan showing why he's so successful with the steals, and Everett Dayton drains a 3-point attempt for the Jumbos. And this crowd is on its feet here.
Yeah, Tufts is feeding off the home crowd nicely.
There's Lewis out to Garrick. Garrick from 2. Rebound there by Lewis. Long pass, Jernigan to Dayton, who will just keep that ball in. There's Spadaford from 3, and I almost spoke too soon. Been hot from 3 recently, but nothing going there, and the ball's with Garrick. And it looks like he'll be fouled there, and he'll go to the line.
Tough call. Engvall doesn't like it. Frankly, neither do I. Looks like he got a lot of ball there, but great move from Tom Garrick, forcing the issue here. Forced his defender to commit. That's the kind of versatility you need from a guy. He's a great 3-point shooter. He draws the defender out and then is able to take it to the hole. But notice Tom Pileski is right there for the block every time Johnson Wales has taken it into the paint.
And here's Garrick. And he'll miss that one. One of the first things he's missed all day.
Yeah, he's been dialed in thus far in this game. Hit a couple of threes. Just a really sweet shot, Charlie. He really gets his legs involved. Flick of the wrist.
And the second will just go there for Garrick, and we'll have a timeout. Excuse me, immediate timeout. And so, Elliot, I think we. So what are your thoughts on the game so far?
Man, I'll tell you what, Charlie, I always love watching a game with a full court press here. Johnson and Wales turning up the tempo here. Tufts has done a good job, though, countering it. They've seen a couple of traps here, and the Johnson and Wales fans are getting into the action, too. I just love the energy in the building, Charlie. It's so good to be here. All these fans, they just want to see their team do well in the NCAA tournament. It's a rare sight for both teams, and so just a pleasure being here with you, enjoying some good basketball here. I like it. I like seeing the bench players get involved. We've seen Ethan Feldman play pretty well, Ben Engvall doing the same. Also, Robert Lewis pulling down a good board for JWU on the last possession. These teams have depth here, and they're showing it.
And Pileski passes it to Engvall and gets it right back. And we'll be back underway after that media timeout. Here's Everett Dayton. Cries of "Let's go Jumbos" resound around historic Cousins Gym. This is perhaps the biggest basketball game they may have seen since 1932 when it first opened. There's Pileski, and he'll get that.
Using his length there and the left hand. He is a lefty. Blocking foul called, though. Crowd doesn't like it, but that's a good call from the referee.
And a few livid Jumbos fans and a few livid Jumbos players on the bench there. Bob Shelton none too happy.
No, but he'll be happy with his team's performance overall. They're up 6 here. They're doing a nice job, and I think the home crowd really helps, Charlie.
It has to. I remember at last week's game against Skidmore, the crowd was kind of ambivalent about the game in the first half, and the Thoroughbreds, exactly, the Thoroughbreds were able to hold serve, but once the crowd really got going in the second half, the Jumbos just broke away, and the Thoroughbreds could never catch up and win that race.
Assistant coach Matt Malone getting a talking to on the
and a long pass over there.
Referee telling Malone not to stand up on the bench. Only one coach is allowed to do that.
That'll be retrieved by Greenaway. Still looking for his first points, almost 10 minutes in.
That's right. Haven't called his name much.
Jarrell Lawson, we have called his name a few times, though, and we'll call it again as he gets those 2 points.
Well, I'm going to keep calling it if he's making moves like that. Jarrell Lawson with a sweet move to the left.
Here's Ben Engvall. Spatterford feigns a 3, goes for the shorter task, and that'll be a foul called there.
Looks like Corey Greenaway.
And Spatterford is going to go to the line here for the Jumbos.
I tell you what, though, Charlie, Greenaway's a veteran player. He's not gonna lose his focus here. He's a little frustrated, hasn't scored yet. He just got a tough foul call. This is the biggest game of his career. He's going to keep his head in there, not lose it.
And he'll make that one. Take him up to 5 of 6 on free throws for Tufts so far, which is what they would want here.
You can see under the basket our sideline reporter, Brad Schussel, preparing to give us a little breaking news from the sideline here. Excited to see what he has to say.
We're going to get a media timeout at the next stoppage of play, so we'll speak to Brad then. And Spatterford to make the second there. Quick as you like.
Hey, Brad.
And here is Anthony Jernigan. The entire bench for the Wildcats up on their feet here, trying to spur their team on. But Ben Engvall will come up with the rebound.
Tufts doing a nice job. It's all hands on deck on the defensive boards, and they're doing a great job of it.
There's Pileski. And the interception there from Jernigan. Passes it over to Lawson. And Lawson will be blocked there by Ben Engvall, but it looks like they'll call. Not sure what they called there, but we're getting a media timeout. And Brad Schussel, the third member of our team, is here to talk with us. What do you have for us, Brad?
Thank you, Charlie. I don't know how well you fans can hear the noise at home. There is a big crowd on hand here at Cousins Gymnasium, probably the biggest turnout of the year. The noise is incredible. Both sides coming out to see their teams play. Both Johnson and Wales Wildcats, the fans drove about an hour to get here, I'm guessing, but it was worth the trip for them, I'm sure, because this game has been incredible. It's been close. It's been up-tempo, and yeah, they're getting a real treat here. Again, fans from both sides are coming out. There's actually not enough seats for all the fans, so it's incredible. The turnout here at Cousins Gymnasium, and the crowd is electric. You can hear them cheering throughout the game for both sides. Absolutely incredible. I've never seen Cousins Gym like this.
Well, Brad, I think the fans will be happy. There's a lot of nooks and crannies for them to stand in. We've got some crow's nests and different stairwells going randomly throughout the stadium. You can see them on different decks. This really is an eclectic building, Charlie, and thank you, Brad, for joining us here on the side. And then we'll have a little bit more from Brad at the halftime show.
That's true. Tweet your questions to at Tufts JumboCast, and we'll answer some of those during the halftime show, and we'll provide some analysis from this first half of action. Yeah, although we still have more than 10 minutes to go here, Elliot, it may seem like we've been playing for hours with the amount of points that have been scored, but we're still only a quarter of the way through.
There's been a lot of action, Charlie. I tell you, it's been up and down. I'm losing my breath here just thinking about it.
And here's Robert Lewis. Jernigan now. Long pass out to number 3, Jarrell Lawson, who tries the mid-range jumper, but that'll be short. And Lewis gets rejected by Tom Pileski there. But the tip there from Dayton will just give it right back. He's like, all right, I'll pick you up when you're down. And soon Ben Enval makes a 2 on the other end.
What can you say about Tom Pileski? He's just guarding the paint now. Almost gets another block. Looks like he's going to get a foul called on him. Here he's a little overzealous, but man, oh man, love to see that last possession again. Just took the ball away from Corey Greenaway after a block earlier in the possession. I'm not sure if Johnson Wales has come up against a shot blocker like Pileski at all this year. Here's the replay here.
And you have to think, Elliot, the more Tom Pileski can posterize opposing players for the Wildcats, the more that this jumbo support will get behind this team.
Yeah, the crowd eats it up. They love those block shots.
And here's Jernigan, who'll miss the first free throw there, as Haladinha comes into this game to replace Ben Enval, and that looks like number 20, Stefan Duvivier, coming into this game, the sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
If there's one thing to note here, Charlie, is that Johnson & Wales has had nothing but success thus far this year. They've only got 2 losses. I doubt they've played from behind a lot, especially in a hostile away game. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with this away crowd.
But I think a thing to mention, Elliot, is the disparities between the two conferences that we see facing off here. Tufts, a member of the NESCAC, widely regarded as one of the top conferences, in Division III basketball. So that pass overshoots Duvivier. Meanwhile, the GNAC representative here is the Johnson & Wales Wildcats, as Tom Pileski yet again gets this Jumbo's crowd on their feet.
Man, oh man, he's like Riley Salmons out there. United States volleyball player. He's spiking balls.
But the GNAC, not as strong a conference. You said earlier this is the first time that a GNAC team has ever won in the NCAA tournament.
That's right.
And there are 4 teams in the GNAC out of 10 over 500, as opposed to 8 out of 11 in the NESCAC over the 500 mark for the year.
That's right. There's no denying that the Wildcats can play, though. They've just got skill at every position. Tufts is having a tough time dealing with them so far. If it wasn't for a couple of steals like that.
And Tariq Smith will get that. Cries out for kickball, but he's not going to get that given to him. And that'll be Wildcats ball. Excuse me, Tufts ball.
Bob Sheldon working his rhetorical magic over there, somehow convincing the referee it was a jumbo ball.
Maybe giving a little joke there. Bob Sheldon, a very funny guy, as I found out watching some interviews with him.
That's right.
And Sheldon really
he likes to stay hydrated during the game too, Charlie.
He does.
Doesn't let his hydration come second to none. No.
The Tufts Student Athletics Booster Association here is Fan the Fire, Elliot. I'd like them to fan some of these flames so I can cool down up in this booth. Here's Haladinha.
I think fanning the fire makes it bigger, Charlie. I'm not sure.
I'm not a scientist, Elliot. I'm a history major. As Everett Dayton makes the long shot. And that'll be a 3 for number 4, filling in for Vincent Pace admirably. Here's Robert Lewis. He'll get that to go.
Nice.
And it's an 8-point game with about 10 minutes gone in the first half, but still no points from Corey Greenaway.
Nice bucket from Robert Lewis there. Sure, Tom Pileski's had a few blocks, but Lewis won't be denied here.
And an alley-oop to Tariq Smith. Tom Pileski to Smith, a little roll reversal there, and Smith making no mistakes in the big man position. Lewis from 3. And won't recreate his success on that earlier possession.
Spadaford with a nice board there. Tom Pileski said in an interview, Spadaford is the team's best rebounder. He just gets after it. He's got a nose for the ball. Doing a nice job of it today.
Here's Tariq Smith. Pick from Pileski, works against Jernigan. And there's Pileski for 2. And a 12-point lead for the Jumbos, and we'll see a timeout here. And this crowd is on their feet. But let's talk about the Wildcats and a little bit of their deficiency, specifically Corey Greenaway's lack of providing. And Corey Greenaway, the most decorated player on this court here for either side. Greenaway is the active leading scorer in all of NCAA basketball. He has 2,236 points in his career. He won GNAC Player of the Year. He was top 25 in 7 different categories in the entire NCAA Division III, and he scored over 30 points 10 times this season out of a sum total of 30 games.
That's right, Charlie. It's sort of a 1-2 punch with Corey Greenaway and Tom Garrick. When both of these guys score more than 20 points, the Wildcats are undefeated. They're not off to a good start, though, in that regard. With Greenaway, of course, hasn't scored yet. So
let's see what Jamie Benton, the coach, as we can see there in the sweater vest, can spur in his team. Specifically talking there to Greenaway, maybe telling him you have to get your stuff together here and assert yourself. He's averaging 26 points a game, Greenaway. He needs to really pick up the slack if he wants to reach that average here and keep his Wildcats in the game.
But Greenaway's a veteran player, Charlie. He's going to bounce back. Watch for Johnson and Wales to make a run here and try to silence this crowd.
Here's Clayton Roker is back in this game. Stepping in for Jernigan. Lawson gives it to Garrick.
Good pressure from Haladina on the perimeter.
Garrick mid-range. And that will not go. So Garrick having a bit of trouble keeping up his early performance here.
Good pressure from Lewis on the outside. Dayton doing a nice job handling it, though. Tariq Smith a little cautious pulling the trigger from 3.
That may be a result of the press here being played by the Wildcats. As we see Dayton, long 2. And he'll get that to go.
Money.
So a big run here from the Jumbos.
Money from Everett Dayton. Just such confidence from number 4. I like the way he's shooting the ball from the outside. Ethan Feldman doing a nice job of that. He came off the bench earlier and hit one quickly.
And Ryan Madsen back in this game for Tom Pileski. Here's Tom Garrick trying to recreate a famous Jacobin actor and play his part extremely well on this big stage. As we see Corey Greenaway with his first points of the game.
Somehow I doubt that's what he's thinking about at this moment, Charlie, but a man can dream. Greenaway with his first points there. Let's see if that leads to more. Wildcats will be hoping he gets into double figures soon.
And with this 12-point deficit here for the Wildcats, I'm shocked that Jamie Benton still has his sweater vest and jacket on. He must be feeling the heat here because this crowd is well behind the Jumbos as we see a travel called on Everett Dayton. And we'll see here immediate timeout. There's Jamie Benton, Coach of the Year in the GNAC, trying to, excuse me, that's Jamie Benton's assistant, Jamie Benton no, that is Jamie Benton. I've been confusing myself. Jamie Benton will give a team talk here.
Well, no matter who the coach is, Charlie, he's got to tell his guys they need to do a better job on the offensive end. I mean, Johnson and Wales averaging almost 90 points a game, and with only 6:50 left to go in the first half, they've got 22 points. I think their lack of size is hurting them. They don't really have anyone who can go toe-to-toe with Tom Pileski in the paint right now. And Tufts doing a nice job pressuring on the perimeter. Johnson and Wales hasn't been able to get up many perimeter shots here.
And you have to also try, I think a big thing going forward for Johnson and Wales here is on the fans. The fans need to really galvanize their team. They have a big traveling contingent here. I know that Johnson and Wales sent a bus to Cousins Gymnasium, and they also have some cheerleaders over by the bench there, and they need to really spur their team on and get them back in this game.
That's right. I think their guys need a little pick-me-up here. Here's some Johnson and Wales fans up on the third deck.
And then some Tufts
mixed
fans.
in with some Tufts fans on the third deck of Cousins Gymnasium here.
And all that being said, Elliot, this game is by no means over. We've seen bigger deficits than this erased.
Did I say it was over, Charlie? I didn't say it was over.
I'm just saying for those curious viewers who may have thought this game's over already and tuned out, it ain't over till it's over.
If you thought that, Charlie, you've never seen NCAA March basketball before.
Here's Greenaway, guarded by Spadaford. Greenaway, long jumper, and that'll be short, story of his night. And that looks like it'll go off of Haladini and be a Wildcats ball.
I like Greenaway being aggressive, though. He's a good player. He's, like you said, he's the all-time career, he's the current points leader in all of NCAA Division III. You want to see him keep being aggressive. That's a good shot. He can hit that.
And here's Clayton Roker. Tom Garrick, Robert Lewis. Lewis outshoots Pileski over his attempted block and gets those 2 points for the Wildcats.
Lewis is doing a nice job finishing on the inside here, but watch Ryan Spataford deny Corey Greenaway the ball in the next possession. He's not even letting him touch it.
And you know, it's interesting. Lewis is more known for his defense. He was a Defensive Player of the Year in the GNAC as Pileski, who's been playing some wonderful defense of his own, puts that away. But he's only averaging 6.7 points, really showing up here in the absence of Greenaway. Although that absence may not endure much longer as he makes that 2.
It's not. He's heating up quickly, Charlie. He's got 4 points in the last couple of minutes here. Tufts knows they can't let off the gas here. They may be up 10, but if anyone could score quickly, it's the Johnson Wales Wildcats.
Pileski fakes out there, Garrick, but that's not good for Tom. Can't get his dunk to go. Maybe a bit of showboating there that he will not want. He will want back as
he wants that one back, sure.
He's had a lot that he doesn't want, that he hasn't wanted back, but that'll be the first.
Yeah, Tom Pileski doing a nice job rejecting shots earlier in this game, but he got his own shot rejected by the rim on that last play.
And I know, Elliot, one of the things that you always talk about is players playing with heart. No one has been showing that energy more than Tom Pileski on this court. He's as into this as a fan as he is a player.
That's right.
As Feldman replaces Engvall. Here's Jernigan back on the court. Roker possibly thinking 3.
Johnson and Wales playing 5 out here. No one in the paint here looking to cut.
There's Greenaway pivoting. Pass intercepted by Ryan Spataford, intended for Robert Lewis. And here's Tariq Smith.
It's just too congested in there for Johnson and Wales on offense. Tom Pileski doing a nice job holding down the paint here.
There's Stephen Halladina to his co-captain Spataford, picked by the other captain, Pileski. Halladina mid-range, makes no mistakes. Another 2 points for Stephen Halladina.
Yeah, he's using his length on that one, just getting above the defender.
And there's Feldman on the rebound.
Great rebound by Feldman. You know JWU is going to crash the boards. Feldman doing a nice job blocking out.
And a steal there from Robert Lewis. And he'll take this all the way down, give it out to Garrick, up against Pileski. We'll get it on the 3rd attempt.
Nice job by JWU staying with it. Timeout on the floor by Bob Shelton.
So what do you think? You think that Johnson Wales, you can see they're getting back into this, but what does Tufts have to do to stop that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, they got a 10-point lead right now. They just got to keep doing what they're doing. As we see some fans, they need a little bravado like this fan has, Charlie. I think Tufts has to play a little more of that. And this person seems to be a fan of My Pony by Genuine. And who isn't, frankly? I've never understood why Tufts plays this song. I guess because it's a groove that you just have to dance to. Fans, if there was a camera on us right here, you could see that I'm also dancing, just like that fan. I really hope no one puts a camera on us.
It's not a pretty sight at all.
It's not pretty.
Oh, but we have it.
Oh, God, there it is.
I apologize on behalf of all of Tufts JumboCast for Elliot Cobb's antics. I'm once again Charlie Driver. If you're just joining us, this isn't Tufts University Dance-a-thon. This is a Sweet 16 game between the Johnson and Wales Wildcats and the Tufts Jumbos. Save some energy for the commentating, Elliot.
I have to. I'm sweating over here.
And so we'll see which team responds better after Bob Shelton called that timeout. And I think we'll get another media timeout just in a moment here, Elliot.
Yeah, we should.
With 4 minutes. Every 4 minutes in a game, according to NCAA rules, there is a media timeout.
Yeah, the NCAA, Charlie, they might put in 4 media timeouts every half, but why don't they just throw in a dance timeout? That's what I'm saying. Get a little more Genuine in the game. I think the fans would like it. I certainly enjoy it.
And here's Tom Pileski. 28-38, 4 minutes and 26 seconds to go in what has been a thrilling first half here in Cousins Gymnasium. And with that whistle, we'll see an end to the Genuine.
Sadly.
A resumption
Very
of the
sadly.
basketball. Here's Pileski right under his own basket. Feldman.
Tufts breaking the press pretty easily thus far. in the game. Feldman doing a nice, oh boy, I spoke too soon.
Good defense there from Roker and Greenaway. And Roker will take it himself and get that easy layup.
Feldman made a rookie mistake there. You cannot dribble over the halfway line and pick up your dribble. That's exactly what he did.
There's Tariq Smith. Haladinha from 3. Be a bit short, and Greenaway on the rebound.
Greenaway leading the team in rebounds. He's a strong kid. You can tell he can come down with those.
And he can come down with those as well, Elliot. A 3-pointer for Corey Greenaway.
Cuts this lead to 5.
Tariq Smith now. There's Haladinha. Short shot, and that'll be a foul called.
Looks like it's on the floor. It'll be on Tom Garrick there.
And Haladinha will go to the line where he is shooting 79.2%.
Yeah, that's the trade-off. If you're Johnson and Wales, you like pressing, you get some steals, but on the other end, if Tufts breaks the press, we saw Haladinha have a couple of open looks there. You're going to want to get more steals than you have open shots. They're doing a good job of that so far.
Here's Tariq Smith. Pileski. And that'll be a travel called against Tom Pileski. We won't be happy with that.
No, but that's where Tufts needs to go with the basketball. Tom Pileski's the obvious mismatch there. He's got 4 inches on the next tallest player on Johnson and Wales' team. He's shown he can convert from the block. They just need to keep getting it to him.
And Pileski leading the Jumbos right now with 8 points so far.
But man, you thought Tufts was running away with this game. All of a sudden you snapped your fingers. They're only up 5.
There's a reason we said it wasn't over, Elliot.
That's right. Johnson and Wales can score in bunches.
Jernigan, long range 2. Nothing but net on the fade there.
That's his second sweet step back of the game. He's not a big guy, but he sure can shoot.
Long pass over to Smith, who jumping passes it to Feldman.
Feldman's got to be more aggressive there. They had a 2-on-1 opportunity.
Pileski feigning a 3. He can shoot from 3 despite his size. There's Dayton, long range 2, nothing going.
No one's crashing the board for Tufts. They're a little tired here, Charlie.
And the crowd a little more silent now, Elliot, wouldn't you say? As Jernigan almost makes that layup. But Robert Lewis gets it on the second attempt.
A great tip-in. He's really a glue guy, Charlie. He can do it all. You've seen him make steals, rebounds, and tips. You love to have him on your team.
And 2.5 minutes left in this first half, and it's a 1-point game here. Tariq Smith can't make it a 3-point game. And here's Lewis, long pass to Jernigan. Nice vision there. But the clever pass from Jernigan to Roker won't go, and Tufts will end up with the basketball.
Take a deep breath, Charlie. Seen a lot of action the last few minutes here.
And there's Haladini and Spadaford, a duo that Bob Sheldon, with a slight cliche, calls the Splash Brothers, I found out.
Huh.
Perhaps from their acumen shooting from 3 and from far from the basket.
Or maybe they like to go to the pool, do a little backstroke.
There's Tariq Smith. I won't say no to that, Elliot. Here's Haladini, one of the Splash Brothers. And there's a splash there. Haladini with another 2 points. Jernigan now.
Tufts coaching staff sort of losing their minds over there. They wanted a foul called there. You better believe they're invested in this game.
Tom Garrick, again, Bob Sheldon trying to make it to the Elite 8 for the first time in his 28-year tenure. As Garrick gets plowed over by Pileski a little unintentionally. He made it to the Sweet 16, as I said, a decade ago. He's back again now, and he's leading by 1.
Johnson and Wales got a spring in their step here.
And
a jam.
Dunk from Jarrell Lawson, and quick as you like. It's 41-40. Johnson and Wales completing a comeback from a 10-point-plus deficit.
Boy, things can really turn quickly when you're playing Johnson and Wales. They love to run the floor. They get steals. All of a sudden, all the energy in the world is on their side. Look at these fans.
And all the energy in the world is in that fan there.
He's loving it. Tufts needs to slow down, take a deep breath here. And if you're Johnson and Wales, keep turning up the pressure.
Here's Tariq Smith. There's Haladini falling. Can't get it to go. But a nice job to keep it in by Spadaford, and he'll be fouled despite the rejection from Roker.
It's a feeding frenzy out there. Everyone on Johnson and Wales can feel the energy, Charlie. They're going for blocks and steals, and they're getting them right now. All of a sudden, you blink once, Charlie, and the lead is totally changed.
And we see two teams with wild animals for mascots, and they're really showing that feral spirit here today, Elliot.
That's exactly right. Well, I mean, a lot of teams have wild animals for mascots, but maybe Wildcats and elephants, particularly wild.
There's Spatterford, and he'll make that. He's shot very well from the line so far as we have a tie game. A minute 18 left in this first half as Pileski comes out for Drew Madsen. And Elliot, I'm looking to my right, and there it's standing room only here in Cousins Gymnasium.
You better believe it. We got people standing on the stairs. Any line of sight you can get. I don't know if I've ever seen the gym like this. Pretty exciting to be around.
And he'll make the second one. The official capacity, Elliot, is 1,600. I wouldn't be surprised if we are pushing the limit there. And here is Jernigan.
Tufts has done well defending half-court sets here. It's just when Johnson and Wales gets into transition, they've been able to make some quick baskets here.
Guys of defense. Garrick feigns a three. And he'll make that one easily. So the Cries of defense do nothing for the Jumbos. A little miscommunication over who should take that inbounds, and that'll cost the Jumbos some seconds.
Yeah, Tom Pileski's been taking every inbounds pass, and he's been blocking shots like that Garrick just put up. It's tough when he's out of the game, but he's getting a breather right now.
Here's Tariq Smith. 35 seconds left. And an acrobatic finish from Tariq Smith.
Looked like the basket will count, but I'm not sure. Looked like Drew Madsen may have tugged on the rim at the end of this one. Look at Tariq Smith hang in the air, finish with the left. Looked like it should have been a goaltend on Drew Madsen.
But I think these Jumbo faithful will take it, and Tariq Smith will go to the line to try and get a three-point play.
Just a great move. He kind of does that every time he goes up for a layup, Charlie. Tariq Smith hangs in the air. He's able to finish with his left and right. Did a nice job doing that there. Johnson Wales trying to take the charge, but nothing doing.
Athleticism on display here. And shooting prowess as well as he makes that a three-point play from the line.
Yeah, you saw that lovely graphic at the bottom of your screen. Tariq Smith, an 82% free throw shooter. He doesn't miss those often.
Here's Jernigan. 2-point lead for the Jumbos. Shot clock still on. Jernigan again. He'll let this time wind down as much as he can.
He's craning his neck to hear his head coach here. Drawing up a play with 6 seconds remaining.
Fancy dribbling from Jernigan. And that'll be a shot clock violation for the Wildcats. Not sure what they were doing there. Couldn't dish it out to the perimeter to shoot fast enough. And that's a big mistake there for Johnson and Wales.
It looks like Tufts will take a timeout here with 3 seconds remaining.
And in this first half
no timeout.
This first half so far has been a story for the Wildcats of Garrick, Tom Garrick, carrying this team to the tune of 17 points so far. And it's also been a story of neither team shooting especially well from three. We have 33.3% from the three-point arc for Johnson and Wales, and only 28.6% for the Jumbos, who shot so well last week.
Yeah, Feldman hit a couple of big threes last week, and we've seen Haladina miss some. Here, let's see what Tufts can do with 4 seconds left.
Tariq Smith sprinting down the court, going for the layup, and he'll get that at the buzzer, so Tariq Smith will extend the Jumbos lead to 4 going into halftime in a filled to the brim Cousins Gymnasium. The score at halftime, 47 as we see replay here. Smith making no mistakes, 47 to Tufts, 43 to the Johnson & Wales Wildcats. So both teams showing their obvious class here, don't you think, Elliot?
You think so. Just like they drew it up at the end of the half, Charlie. Tariq Smith so good going to the hoop. Can't wait for more of that in the second half.
And we'll take a break here, Elliot and I, to catch our breath before this second half. But in the meantime, stay tuned because Brad Jussel is going to be bringing you the JumboCast halftime show. Tweet your questions to @TuftsJumboCast on Twitter, and we'll be right back with Brad and the halftime show. Thank you.
Welcome to the JumboCast halftime show. I'm Brad Schulzel alongside Matt Noonan from D3 Hoops, and we got Adam Lamont from Nothing But NESCAC, the sports blog, and we got a great game on hand today. Such a close game, so up-tempo, and Tufts had a big lead about halfway through the first half, but Johnson Wales, they just came storming back. What do you think, guys? How were they able to call in that run and tie the game?
Yeah, I mean, all right, well, first off, I had no clue this guy was with Nothing But NESCAC, so that guy is a big homer to the NESCAC, but that's okay, though.
Well, I was right last game. So.
No, that's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
Here's what Johnson and Wales does. They average 90 points a game. You know, Greenaway, and also Garrick. That's the focal point of that team. But if you watch when they were down 38-28, they did not even flinch when it was when Tufts. I think there was a timeout called. They just started running the ball, and that's their tempo. I mean, they're an up-tempo style. I mean, the GNAC in some ways, between them, Albertus Magnus, Emmanuel a little bit too, and then them, and Anna Maria as well, they're fast teams. So you know you're going to be having – Sheldon even told me too earlier this week, you've got to make sure that we keep pace with these guys. So, and as Sheldon says, I'm sure as you guys know, they use the phrase, we out. So when they get that rebound, I was noticing when I was down there, they were running.
Absolutely. It's been a fast-paced game. And at the end of the first half, Tufts actually kind of gained the momentum back. They had a big run. Tariq Smith hitting that buzzer beater. Adam, what did you see at the end of the first half?
That end of the first half was really interesting because, you know, Johnson Wales has the ball. They have a chance to score right before the half, and you know, their point guard just doesn't understand the time and situation, you know, tries to pass it off when he should have gone up with it. And then, you know, really just bad defense off the inbounds and allowing Tariq Smith a straight line to the bucket. Nobody tries to get in front for the charge. You know, that's basically a 4-point swing. That's the difference right now. You know, those little things at the ends of halves make a big difference.
Absolutely. And Tom Pileski is one player that's been having a big game. He's a big guy. Johnson Wales, very short roster. What do you think, guys? Have they been having a little trouble guarding him?
What? Yeah, they have. They have because, you know, he's blocking the ball. I mean, he's slamming that ball out of this gym. And
absolutely.
So that's the one thing that he's got going for him. But the one thing that they got to contain in the second half, I don't know if you would agree with this, they got to contain the speed because I understand they want to get into a track meet, but I don't know if this is the right team you want to get into a track meet with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big play, I think, for Johnson Wales that sparked them was the one steal they had. Ethan Feldman turned the ball over. They got a quick basket. You know, right after that, Tufts missed a shot, and then they came down and hit a three, and all of a sudden it was a 5-point game. And it was like, uh-oh, here we go. This is going to be a ball game, you know, the rest of the way.
Absolutely. It's been really close. We got a 4-point game here going into the second half. What do you expect to see from both sides going into the start of the second half?
Well, I mean, Pileski has to get the ball every single possession if he must, essentially. You know, Everett Dayton, those guys have done a great job stepping up and making shots, but Pileski is the guy in the second half who Tufts has to run through.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's going to be – I mean, this entire roster for Johnson and Wales, I mean, we could go through name by name, but that's just going to take too long for you guys. But the thing is, they just got to – you know, they got to do what they do. I mean, they just run and gun. I mean –
They have been.
That's what they've been doing.
They
did it against Fitchburg State last week up in upstate New York. They did it against Trinity, although Trinity is a team, in my mind, in the NESCAC that you can certainly go running with. So that's what they've got to do. But, yeah, they've got to contain Pileski because – boy, he is having his way down low in the paint.
100%. And the winner of this game will go on to the Elite Eight. They're going to face Amherst. That's got to be a tough matchup, guys. What do you think about that?
Amherst, I think they're playing as well as they have all year. For them, it's just a matter of, you know, staying confident. They almost sort of gave that game away, or at least kept Babson in it because they just kept missing free throws down the stretch. You know, it's things like that. They're so talented, but there's always something that holds them back, whether it's lackluster defense or whatnot. And, you know, so even though they're obviously show that they're a great team, on any given night, they can just not show up.
Absolutely. And either of these teams we know can put up a fight. You've seen the fire in them on both sides today. When they get timeouts and they have a lead and they've been on a big run, they've been getting pumped up. The crowd has been getting pumped up. We've got a big crowd on hand here. What would you say? Oh, we got a tweet here. I'm sorry. Peter Cobb says, at Tufts JumboCast, Tom Pileski is an animal. Any Jumbos make the all-NESCAC team? Well, I know Vincent Pace made the all-second NESCAC team, but he is injured, unfortunately, not able to play today. He tore his ACL a few games ago. Any other Jumbos on the all-NESCAC team, if you can remember?
trying to remember here too. I mean, I think it was littered with a variety of not only, if not jumbos, there was definitely Middlebury players. I mean, Santa Moore is one of the guys that comes to mind. Daly's another one from Amherst. I mean, David George is always one of the guys you got to keep an eye on there too. Green was obviously great. McCarthy was shooting the lights out too. So I don't know if I turn to him for the nothing but the NESCAC.
Yeah, I mean, Paleshi, I think, got second team. I can't remember exactly, but no one else who's playing on this Tufts roster did make first or second team all NESCAC. So it's really Paleshi and company out there tonight. I mean, it's crazy. Hunter Sabetti transferred away. He went to a D1 school, and Vincent Pace isn't playing. So that's so much talent that's lost, but there's still so much here for the Jumbos.
We got one more tweet here. B. Webby says, at Tufts JumboCast, don't think I've ever seen as scorching of an opening half as we just witnessed, and the finish, just wow. Hashtag go Bows. Go Bows indeed. That was a crazy first half. A lot of intensity on both sides. You guys agree?
Couldn't agree more. I mean, this game was built in a way to be a track meet because, again, Coach Sheldon knew going into this game when I spoke to him earlier this week that he said, we got to keep up with them. We got to, and the interesting thing, too, is I was trying to figure out, was there a NESCAC opponent, and I don't know if you want to add to this, that kind of resembles the track team that you see out there with Johnson and Wales. From my perspective, I probably would go with Wesleyan, but I'd also go with Trinity because I think both teams are very finesse and athletic.
I would say Trinity in terms of the intensity that they play with both ends of the court. But there's no one that combines the quickness, pressing you in the full court with the ability to score quickly and score one-on-one individually that Johnson and Wales has. You really don't see in the NESCAC nearly as much.
Would you say that's the key for the Jumbos? I'm trying to keep up the pace there in the second half.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I feel like I am in a way, but yeah, that's what they've got to do.
Can't say it enough. I mean, it's so important when you're playing against a team like Johnson and Wales.
But the biggest thing too is if you watch during that particular stretch late in the first half, again they're down by 10 and they come up, they end up going up, by 1. They got to contain them because the one thing that they're doing a great job at early on was ball movement, and they got to kind of milk the clock a little bit. I understand again, when you play a team like these guys that are athletic and finesse, they want to obviously run.
Absolutely.
But take the time on offense. I mean, it's a simple analogy, but just kind of drain that clock. And if I find Tom down low or able to shoot the three-pointer. The one thing we saw last game was Amherst had no issue shooting three-pointer. I mean, I think they only finished with nine three-pointers, but Tufts can shoot from outside. Tufts can shoot from the inside too. So kind of in my mind, for them they got to slow it down, but then they've also got to contain Greenaway and Garrett because those are the two guys that really get them going. They're averaging close to 25 and 30 points a game respectively.
Absolutely, and Wildcats have been bringing the full court defense. Tufts, like you said, has been moving the ball well. They've been able to penetrate that defense. All right, we're going to have to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining us for the halftime show. Remember to keep tweeting in your questions. We're going to answer them throughout the second half. My thanks to Matt Noonan and Adam Lamont. We'll be back soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And welcome back to Cousins Gymnasium. Thanks again, Brad and guests, for the wonderful halftime show we just witnessed. Score is 47 to Tufts, 43 to the Johnson & Wales Wildcats. The Tufts Jumbos opening up a pretty sizable lead early, Elliot, but the Wildcats coming straight back into this. What did you see from the stat lines at the half? Well,
I mean, you saw Tufts, as you said, take the lead. The crowd really got into it, but then the air got taken out of the building. Johnson & Wales just absolutely. We got a big old tweet here from Chrissy Victoria, says, Wildcats wait a bit before they pounce and kill their prey. Cat emoji.
Well, this elephant not killed yet, still with a 4-point lead, and we'll see how that unwinds in this second half.
Well, thank you, Chrissy. That certainly seemed to be true in the first half. This is going to be a game of runs, Charlie. We saw Johnson & Wales go on a 9-point swing there. Tufts has to do a good job holding the momentum here.
Here's Tom Pileski. He had 5 blocks in that first half, which is the amount he had in the game last Sunday.
And Michael Kaiser back in the game. Only had 2 minutes in the first half.
We didn't see as much from Kaiser as we would have expected, but Robert Lewis has played well in his stead, as there's Tom Garrett getting another 2 points, and he'll be up to 19 on this game.
Johnson & Wales doing exactly what they came out to do, get points in transition. That's how they got back in this game, and looks like that's how they're going to try to win it.
Stephen Halladina now driving. In and out there for Halladina.
Great.
Corey Greenaway on the rebound.
And a great block out by Michael Kaiser.
And that'll hit the underside of the rim.
Tom Pileski just too big on the inside. He didn't even need to jump for that one. Just stuck his hand up, was able to alter.
3, and nothing but net for Tom Pileski. So not something we usually see from him, but he is shooting 44.7 from the 3-point line, and he shows that skill there.
He picks his spots, Charlie, and when he does, he usually makes it.
Here's Corey Greenaway. Gives it over to his teammate Jernigan. And Tom Pileski, there's a 6th block for the big man.
Did you say 6? Gracious, that is insane from the big man. Jernigan doing a nice job getting to the rim, but just Tom Pileski, a clean shot from Tom Garrick. Wonderful fundamentals from him. If you're a kid watching at home, shoot like Tommy Garrick does. Get your elbow up there, flick the wrist.
May have been playing the second fiddle to Corey Greenaway for a long time here, but making no mistakes here when he gets the chance to shine.
No, I think Tom Garrick's length is big for him in this game. Going up against Pileski, the shot blocker, Tom Garrick's got 2 inches on Corey Greenaway. He's been more successful getting to the rim so far. Greenaway, as we've seen on the last couple of possessions, denied by Pileski a couple of times. I like the way Garrick is playing, though.
And Garrick averages 22 points a game. He's already at 21, so we'll see him breeze by there. And maybe he can get past 30 on the day. Here's Tariq Smith from the line. And he'll make the first.
Boy, the way these teams are scoring points, Charlie, we might have multiple players with 30 points.
Well, we were Johnson & Wales, correct, Elliot? And what did he say to us?
He said it's a race to 90. Said whoever goes to 90 first is winning this game. It's turning out to be true. Man, these 2 teams can sure score.
Here's Corey Greenaway after Tariq Smith missed his second. Long 2 from Greenaway, and Pileski will get that board.
That's Greenaway's shot. I mean, he's open there. He's been a little off today, but if you're Johnson & Wales, you like that shot.
Quick break here. Here's Greenaway, guarded by Pileski. And Greenaway tries for the dunk, but just oh. And there's Tariq Smith on the other end, but that'll be Jernigan on the rebound.
Greenaway showing off the springs there. Jumps out of nowhere to pound it down.
Halladina, and Halladina will foul the Johnson & Wales
Tom
play.
Pileski narrowly escaped making the Sports Center top 10 there. Man, if you're a shot blocker, Charlie, you want to get up and try to block those shots, but you just can't help getting posterized sometimes. Pileski was lucky that one didn't go in the hoop.
And I mean, he's been on the creating end of so many posterizations. Maybe it was time for him to be on the receiving end, but not just yet, as it seemed. There's Jarrell Lawson from 3, and he'll drain that.
That's a foul on Pileski there.
So
that's a silly foul from him on the perimeter. Tufts needs him in the game as much as possible. Ryan Matson is not the same shot blocker as Pileski is, but just a great effort there from Jarrell Lawson, putting in the shot from distance.
And we'll see Lawson now shoot for the 4-point play. A somewhat more rare play, but nevertheless a very good one for this Wildcats team, because it would get them back into a tie game. Cries of air ball, trying to deter Lawson. And it will deter him. He won't air it, but Spatterford comes down with that ball. Everdayton with a nice spin move there. Here's Pileski. And that'll go, and he'll shoot for a three-point play, and Tom Pileski is fired up on the court.
Man, I would be too, Charlie. That's a huge and one coming off the four-point play attempt, I should say. But you got to say, Johnson Wales just doesn't have the length inside. Pileski's just able to turn and shoot against any of these Johnson Wales defenders. They got to start double teaming or something.
Again, Tom Pileski is 6'8", no one above 6'5" on this Wildcats team, and it shows here.
Yeah, you see Clayton Roker trying to defend Pileski, but he just doesn't have the size. Roker at 6'3", got 5 inches shorter than Pileski, and he's able to finish there. He'll attempt the and one.
And it was a big question we asked in the beginning of the game, Elliot, wasn't it, for the Wildcats, and they haven't really answered it so far.
No, Pileski's been unstoppable inside when Tufts has been able to get the ball to him. But when Johnson Wales has made their runs, they've stolen the ball on the perimeter. Look for them to try to turn up the pressure here.
Pileski with 13 points already in this game. He's averaging 14.8. There's a rejection there from Haladina, but Greenaway will get it the second time.
Yeah, Greenaway won't be denied for this entire game, Charlie. He's scored 30 points a game, a lot. As Haladina getting trapped here, it's a jump ball. Great pressure from Johnson and Wales there. Haladina caught the inbounds pass in a dangerous place, Charlie. You never want to receive the inbounds pass in the corner there. I like the aggressiveness from the Wildcats. Possession arrows pointing their way.
And we've seen a lot of success from this full court press, Elliot, haven't we? We've seen this is a Wildcats team that steals the ball very well, and we've had a few here. And we've also had a few that have almost gone to the Wildcats before being scooped up by Tariq Smith.
That's right. You wouldn't think Tufts would be a good team to trap because they have 4 guards who could handle the ball very well. And Pileski actually isn't a bad ball handler as well. But Tufts actually has had a few steals here. I mean, it's hard to not turn the ball over when you're facing such a good press. Johnson Wales, they press every game. They're so practiced at it. And a veteran team like this, they're going to force turnovers.
And these two defensive focal points really speak to the dichotomy in styles in terms of physicality that these teams have. And that was a foul on Tom Garrick, the correction says. For example, Johnson and Wales, 5 steals to Tufts 1. Meanwhile, this is the halftime stats. Johnson Wales had no blocks, but Tufts had 7 because of their superior height.
That's right. Garrick, that's his 3rd foul, and for the leading scorer, that's not what you want. But I'm not sure what play they're talking about, Charlie.
And we see Jamie Benton there practically livid with that decision. He's not happy, and he doesn't want the focal point of his attack right now to get into foul trouble early in the second half.
No, Garrick has been very effective today. He hit a couple of early threes, and then he's been getting to the rim ever since. Started off the half with a nice transition lay-in. Johnson Wales is going to need him in this game. They're only down 2 thus far. Boy, Charlie, you like the way this game is shaping up. It's a barn burner, as my Uncle Miles would say.
You have to, and you hope it doesn't get so hot that it burns this barn-like gym down, because it's a rich history that we'll talk about at the next media timeout.
That's right. A lot of history in this place, and I think we're going to make some more tonight, no matter who comes out on top. And, of course, tomorrow, remember to join us tomorrow evening at 7:30 for Amherst and the winner of this game. Of course, if you're a diehard D3 Hoops fan, you saw Amherst defeat Babson earlier on Cousins Gymnasium on JumboCast. It was a very good game. Amherst, boy, they got a deep team, Charlie. Saw what they could do at both ends of the court.
That's very true, and they play more NESCAC style. They're a defensive-heavy team, which is an interesting matchup with either one of these teams on the court right now.
Yeah.
The Jumbos are probably hoping, as I raise my volume to speak over this fiery crowd, the Jumbos are hoping to make this a NESCAC matchup and try and get a rematch against Amherst, who they played earlier in this year, and I believe were defeated.
They beat Amherst in Cousins Gym at the end of the regular season, but then lost to Amherst in the NESCAC semifinal.
And meanwhile, Johnson and Wales are hoping to make it 3 out of 3 against NESCAC opponents. They beat Trinity in the first round of this tournament, and they're hoping to take the scalps of the Jumbos and the Amherst team.
That's right. You heard the fans getting into it there during that timeout. You love to hear that. It's not often that you go to a tough sporting event and you see students getting into the action here, but boy, are they excited to be at this NCAA Sweet 16 matchup.
And we have a double correction. The foul was on Clayton Roker, not Tom Garrick.
Not sure what was being debated there. I guess I got short-term memory loss when it comes to these fouls, but
I think they'll be happy nonetheless that isn't a foul on Garrick's record.
That's right.
Here's Jernigan. Robert Lewis now with the ball. He'll drive, and another rejection by Tom Pileski.
It's a 3-on-1 here.
Tom Pileski does the follow-through, but it won't count because Spatterford had been fouled in the build-up. And he'll go to the line.
Tufts getting into the transition game here. Usually that's Johnson and Wales territory, but they're almost able to convert the transition play. Spatterford will go to the line.
And the team's third. Ryan Spatterford to the line, shooting 2.
He's shooting 72.8 from the from the free throw line, as you can see there. 12.2 points per game on the year, and so far he has 4 points.
His claim to fame, Charlie, is rebounding. He's just a tough guy to beat on the glass. He just wants that ball. He's shown it here today, getting a couple of key rebounds.
But he doesn't have a profile of a big man, but then again, this is a Tufts team that only plays with one. They don't have any recognized forwards. Bob Sheldon isn't a believer in that. They have 3 centers, and the rest of the team is all made up of guards.
Yeah, but rebounding's all about heart, Charlie. It's not about size.
Here's Corey Greenaway, himself a very good rebounder. And that'll be a foul called there against, by the looks of it, Spatterford. So Spatterford at the end drawing a foul and making one.
Saw Tom Pileski come over with try to windmill swat that ball away. He's really feeling the blocks here today. That foul will be on Ryan Spatterford.
It's the second foul for Spatterford today. And we'll see Greenaway shoot. Greenaway is shooting 76 flat from the line, but that won't go.
Foul called on the floor there. Interesting, Charlie. I would have called it a 2-shot foul, but too bad for the Wildcats. Greenaway misses the front end of the one-on-one.
There's Tariq over to Tom Pileski. Back to Tariq Smith. Pileski. Haladina. Nothing going there, but Spatterford out-rebounded by number 3, Jarrell Lawson. There's Tom Garrick at the other end. Spatterford showing his rebounding skills there.
Foul called on Jernigan. Saw Tom Pileski get double-teamed in the post on that last possession. He had the presence of mind to find Haladina for the cross-court pass. Johnson and Wales commits the foul here as we go to a timeout.
And Elliot, this is the first time that a Sweet 16 or any NCAA games this season is the first time that any NCAA games have been hosted in Cousins Gymnasium, even though Cousins Gymnasium has been a thing since 1932. Do you know why that is?
I do know why that is, actually. We've got some video footage here to prove it. They did a big renovation in 2009. Notice how the basketball floor is facing 90 degrees in the wrong direction. Look how close the wall of the gym is to the baseline of the basketball court. Tufts had the opportunity to host a few years ago. I think the women's team did, but they weren't allowed to. NCAA regulations didn't allow you to have a wall that close to the court. So Tufts did a complete renovation that we're seeing here. They were able to swap the basketball court around there, and here it is in its current state. Beautiful Cousins Gymnasium. We're seeing it today, some of the biggest crowd it's ever had. And Charlie, a lot of history in this building, as you were telling me before the game.
There is a lot of history in this building. It was state-of-the-art at the time of its construction in 1932. It was one of the best gyms around until Harvard built a new one, I believe, in the 60s.
Surprise, surprise.
But also in the 1960s, we had a few major musicians play in Cousins Gymnasium. Simon and Garfunkel played a concert here in 1964. Bob Dylan was scheduled to play, but he didn't show up. But you know who has shown up here, Elliot?
Who's that?
Both of these teams, and the Jumbo's faithful and the Johnson and Wales Wildcats fans. And we've got ourselves a great game.
That's right. There might be more people, the most people in this gym since the Bob Dylan days, Charlie.
Here's Ben Engvall over to Pileski right around the three-point line. And he'll shoot a long two. And a little uncharacteristically from Pileski recently, doesn't make it.
Haladina doing a nice job pulling down the board, though.
Here's Tariq Smith. He'll shoot a long three. And a little overshot there. Foul called there. Bob Sheldon's none too happy. That'll be a Wildcats ball.
That'll be on Pileski with a push.
5 minutes gone in the second half. 55 to Tufts, 54 to the Johnson & Wales Wildcats as Ryan Madsen checks in for Tom Pileski.
Pileski goes out of the game with his third foul. That's a huge blow for Tufts. Ryan Madsen will come into the game to replace him. Madsen is a serviceable backup, Charlie, but he certainly isn't the shot-blocking presence or the long ball shooting presence.
And Tom Pileski has shown that it's very hard to be like Tom.
That's exactly right.
Here's Corey Greenaway. And his skill set is shown through in fits and starts here. He's had a serviceable day, but he hasn't really shown us why he's the NCAA leading active scorer in his career. There's Haladina, and he'll get that to go.
Good ball movement by Tufts there. They're able to, JWU defenders, nice offensive possession.
And a nice shot of the Cousins floor there. Excuse us for that mistake. We're right back to the basketball as Robert Lewis drives to the basket. And that'll go in and out. Greenaway comes down with it, but a steal there by Everett Dayton.
Boy, it's tough to make a living in the paint, as we're finding out right there.
Ben Engvall. There's Tariq, goes for the layup, but Robert Lewis will get him, and a foul is called on Lewis.
Lewis can't believe it. It looked from here like he got all ball. Tariq Smith will go to the line for 2.
Robert Lewis, the GNAC All-Tournament team member, makes a little mistake there.
Yeah, he's doesn't have the height of Garrick or Pileski, some of the taller players. He had to get up in the air and commit himself. Tariq Smith able to draw some contact.
And Smith will shoot again from the line.
Notice the...
And he misses his first one there. To this game for Ryan Madsen. Anthony Jernigan will exit the game to be replaced by Clayton Roker. And Tariq makes the easy layup for a nice turnover-fueled point. Pair of points, excuse me.
Tough trapping here, giving JWU a little of their own medicine.
Here is Clayton Roker. Robert Lewis. And that'll be an offensive foul on Robert Lewis.
Just a great defensive play from Dayton there. He just is able to move his feet, causes Lewis to drop his shoulder. The referee caused the offensive foul.
And there you see the Jumbo's bench. Tom Pileski and Ryan Madsen, who would usually be the big men in the rotation, are both on the bench. Tufts going with a smaller lineup.
Yeah, no big men in there right now for the Jumbos, but it doesn't really hurt them that much because Johnson & Wales doesn't have a post player.
There's Tariq Smith.
Of course, they will miss Pileski's shot-blocking presence.
But I'm sure we'll see Pileski in due time. Everett Dayton gets a bit tangled up, and that'll be a jump ball. A little scuffle between
Dayton's got to be more cognizant. Charlie, he went across the timeline, slowed down there at the right after crossing midcourt. He's got to know that a double team's coming. Johnson & Wales is trying to trap there.
Everett Dayton is a big fan of sleeping, Elliot, and he was doing a bit of it there, making the mistake that led to the jump ball.
Well, I think we're all big fans of sleeping, Charlie. I mean, we do it a third of our lives, so I'm certainly a fan.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know if I'm necessarily a big fan in the sense that Everett Dayton is, but, you know, I don't necessarily know that.
Bob Sheldon called for, got a warning there. Was mouthing off to the referee. Looks like he'll have to watch himself.
Here's Everett Dayton again. Dayton, the sophomore, obviously is filling in for Vincent Pace, whose injury we discussed earlier, as Ethan Feldman drains a three-point shot.
Boy, he is money from range, Charlie. Just pulls the trigger and it's bullseye every time.
As I was saying, Dayton and Engvall have split time filling in for Vincent Pace, the leading scorer of the Jumbos, who is out for the year after suffering what looked to be a bad knee injury in the first round.
Greenaway having an easy path to the hoop without Pileski in there. Tough trap here from Johnson & Wales.
There's Haladina.
Fighting for the rebound.
He'll get his own rebound, and on the second attempt, he'll get one. He'll get two, and he'll shoot for another.
Stephen Haladina doing work on the inside. He just cannot be stopped, Charlie. In this big of a game, heart counts for a lot, and Haladina is showing that he can't convert on the original shot. It was a bit of a forced layup, but he fights for the rebound. He's got a bloody arm or something. I'm not surprised, Charlie. It's a real dogfight down there in the paint.
Maybe that's some of the bad blood we discussed at the opening of this game, Elliot, coming out onto the floor.
That's exactly right.
And so we'll have to wait for him to receive treatment before he can go to the line, as it looks like Corey Greenaway is going to get a talking to from the assistant coach for for the Wildcats. Well, we see Haladini there getting treated with some gauze. He'll get that bandaged up, and he'll be right back out on the court.
Boy, it's a high-pressure situation for these medics, Charlie. All of a sudden, they're called up at the blink of an eye. They got to work quickly to get these players back in the game. This woman's a real hero out there.
They have experience, though, Elliot, calling back again to the Vincent Pace injury.
And, folks, we would like to apologize. We are having some internet problems here. Your connection may be going in and out a little bit as you're watching at home. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We're trying to remedy it currently.
Maybe a result of the fact that so many people want to document this on their phones. As Haladini shoots for the three-point play and makes the three-point play. So his arm not seemed to be affected by the little patchwork he had there. Here's Corey Greenaway.
And quietly, Charlie, Tufts built a 10-point lead here without Pileski in the game.
Robert Lewis. And that'll be a foul there.
Sort of an identical play to the last possession where a charge was called. Everett Dayton drew the charge. That time, Lewis didn't lower his shoulder as much. He's able to get the 2 and 1.
And here's Robert Lewis going to the line. He's shooting 76% from the line, but we'll have a timeout.
Jamie Benton calls timeout there. The Boston College alum, head coach of the Johnson and Wales Wildcats. Tough year for Boston College. Charlie, I heard they were the only Division I team to ever lose all of their men's basketball games and all of their football games in one season.
Oh, that's not pretty. That was to our colleague Brad Schussel, our third member of our team.
Brad Schussel, tell us what's going on down there on the court.
Hi guys, so I heard a great story earlier about Michael Kaiser, starting center for the Wildcats. He's number 0, he's 6'2". His eligibility is a sophomore, but he is actually 27 years old. Right out of high school, he served a 4-year tour in Iraq after being recruited into the Marines. It's an amazing story. He was a veteran. He came to Johnson & Wales to pursue a culinary arts degree. And the assistant coach for the Wildcats had seen him working out in the gym. He noticed he had a military ID, and he was intrigued. So at their tryouts, he was watching through the window. They told him to come on in and try out, and he impressed. And now he's on the team and making an impact. He's a great player, guys.
Thank you for that, Brad. That's a really interesting story. It's not something you necessarily see a lot of in Division III. And it's a great story for Michael Kaiser, serving his country and then serving his college on the court. And we're going to see Robert Lewis now shoot from the line. And he'll miss that one. Here's Ethan Feldman for the Jumbos, the freshman.
Yeah, Michael Kaiser hasn't gotten to play that much in this game. He started the game, of course, then was taken out 2 minutes later.
But nevertheless, even if he's not producing necessarily night to night on the court, so Ethan Feldman misses the 3 attempt, he is a clear, huge influence in this locker room. And nothing going there until the second attempt for Greenaway goes.
Yeah, it's tougher going for Tufts inside without Pileski in the paint. They need him back in there for rebounding, shot blocking.
There's Ben Engvall going to the basket.
Tough move from Engvall, slicing through defenders, putting it up with the left. That's a big man play, Charlie.
And meanwhile, Corey Greenaway quietly has gotten up to 15 points on the day, Elliot. As the long 3 attempt misses.
A long rebound, though, tracked down by Johnson & Wales.
Here's Robert Lewis over to Tom Garrick. And that'll go back to Ethan Feldman, who gets that board.
Great help on that play by Everett Dayton. He's able to get up just enough. Looked like an easy shot, but number 4 able to adjust it.
There's Dayton there. Now the Johnson & Wales cheerleaders getting into it, shouting defense to spur on their Wildcats.
Yeah, it's fun having the cheerleaders in the building.
There's Dayton off the glass, and the rebound there by Jarrell Lawson.
Man, oh man, he won't be stopped. Travel. Goodness gracious, he looked like he was playing NBA 2K out there. He's going wild on the joystick, dribbling between his legs, going behind the back, spinning around. There's Jarrell Lawson. You appreciate the attempt. Referee perhaps complimenting him on his handles there.
And we'll see a timeout called on the floor here. And so only an 8-point deficit now. They cut it down from 10, did the Wildcats. It's 68-60 right now for the Jumbos, about halfway through this second half of basketball at Cousins Gymnasium. And what do you think that Jamie Benton has to tell his troops to rally them here?
Well, I mean, the formula for success for the Wildcats that we saw in the first half is through the trap. They got to get some steals here with full court pressure. We saw them, once they got a few steals in the first half, the crowd got into it. They were able to build their momentum. All of a sudden, they were unstoppable. They were flying around the field, making plays, getting steals, rebounds, block shots. That's what you got to do if you're Johnson & Wales. This team feeds on momentum. They got to just quick start it. All they need is a spark, Charlie. If you're Tufts, you got to be watching your back. It's very dangerous. A team like this can score points in bunches, and they got to be careful. They want to play the game at their pace.
And on the other side, Tufts, they've been skipping having Pileski on the floor here for a little bit, but they really haven't shown any less for it.
It's surprising, Charlie, actually. I mean, Pileski obviously has been the linchpin of this team. He's been holding down the paint on defense, and he's been their best offensive weapon on the inside. Again, Pileski not coming out to play at the end of this timeout. They're choosing to rest him here, and why not? I mean, Tufts playing well so far, and actually, he's sort of a liability against the press also.
And meanwhile, the other player that we singled out for Tufts in the beginning of the game, Stephen Haladini, has quietly had a nice evening. He's up to 15 points, I believe, as Tariq Smith gets called.
Yeah, he's just a consistent player, Charlie. Haladini, he's going to compete for you every night. He's going to get in double digits. You love having him on your team.
And that was a kick ball against Johnson Wales. Ben Engvall to take this inbound to Tariq Smith. There's Engvall again. And Haladini will go for a three-point play yet again. So you see, though, the one drawback of the full court press, Elliot, is the fact that once Tufts breaks this, they're really just off and running, aren't they?
That's right. Haladini wide open under the hoop. Johnson & Wales is out of sorts, getting back on defense. And like we've been saying all game, they don't have that big body in there that can affect shots at the rim. Haladini just puts it up easy as you like, able to get the three-point play. Sort of a silly foul. I think Corey Greenaway didn't agree with the call. Tough to tell from here.
As Tom Garrick will come out of this game. Excuse me, Jarrell Lawson will come out of this game to be replaced by Anthony Jernigan.
So far in the second half, Charlie, it's been Tufts slowly building a 10-point lead. They're up 70-60 here. They've been doing a nice job. Johnson & Wales hasn't been able to build momentum. If you're Johnson & Wales, you just need a spark. You got to get your guys fired up. You need to start getting some fast break points.
It's also been very stop and start, Elliot, so they really haven't had a chance to build that momentum in the way that they did in the latter stages of the first half, as we see Greenaway here. Driving. And a foul called there. A little push on Ben Engvall could get feisty.
Yeah, it looked like Greenaway was forcing his way to the free throw line and a technical called.
And that looks like it's the right decision there. You could see a clear charge for Greenaway onto Ben Engvall.
I'll be honest, after the play, you saw Stephen Haladini just getting right in the face of Corey Greenaway, sort of egging him on. Greenaway pushed right through him with his shoulder and then bumped into another Tufts player. The referee saw that one and called the technical. I don't know if you're a referee, you want to let the guys play, and he's doing a good job cutting the extracurricular activity right when it starts, but a tough turn of events there, because it looked like Stephen Haladini was at fault himself for.
The basket by Corey Greenaway counts the foul on Ben Engvall. After the play, double technical fouls on Engvall.
And there was a technical foul on Engvall as well for his part in that little scrap.
Yeah.
And then he'll also send Greenaway to the line with the foul on that play.
I like the call, Charlie. It's a big swing. I mean, it's an NCAA tournament game. Are you really going to penalize a guy just for trying to walk to the free throw line? I like the double technical. It says cut the funny business. If you're the referee, it says cut the funny business. And let's just play basketball, and neither team gets a two free throw advantage.
And meanwhile, bonus is on for both teams now. 9 fouls for the Wildcats and 7 fouls for the Jumbos, as Greenaway will go to the line to shoot. And he'll miss that one.
Picks up the rebound, though. Great hustle from number 15.
And he'll go for the layup, and he'll make that. So not a three-point play, but at second asking, he extends it to 4 points on that possession for the Wildcats. Here's Tariq Smith. Driving. And a layup for Tariq Smith, and that'll get the Jumbo faithful on their feet yet again.
Wow. Saw Robert Lewis get up in his face. Tariq Smith able to finish with the left. Beautiful move.
Smith up to 15 points on the day. And Spatterford will come down with it, and that'll be a jump ball by the looks of things. Should be with the Jumbos. And you can see tensions rising, can't you, Elliot?
Spatterford doesn't even want to give the ball to the referee. He's getting after those rebounds right now. Great effort by him and Tom Garrett going for that board. Possession arrow will be with Johnson and Wales. Look for Corey Greenaway to try to get open here. You can tell he's sort of heating up now. He made a nice drive to the rim on that last play. Wasn't able to finish.
And a little under 10 minutes left in this game. It's 73 to Tufts and 64 to the Johnson and Wales Wildcats. The Wildcats looking to get back in this, and you think they're in with a shot, Elliot?
Oh, certainly. I mean, we've seen they can strike quickly. As that tweet said, Wildcats wait before they strike. And if you're a Johnson and Wales fan, you're hoping they're doing just that right now. You can tell the momentum might be shifting here, Charlie. They can strike at any moment.
But the elephant's a big animal. It can be hard to kill.
That's exactly right. Metaphorically, maybe the Jumbos have the advantage. I'm not sure.
Here's Tom Garrick. Just from inside the line, but that won't matter because he'll miss it.
Yeah, it's getting a little chippy out there, Charlie. You see these guys throwing a little bit of elbows. Let's see if it turns into anything here.
Tariq Smith. Tom Pileski still on the bench for this Tufts team. He's been their best contributor up to this point, but Haladina and Tariq Smith have filled in admirably in his absence. And here's Haladina now. And on the second attempt, he'll get that to go.
Haladina cannot be stopped. He knows it's a tough shot on the original bucket, but he stays with it, able to get the putback. And a foul on Haladina on the other end here.
Bob Sheldon very unhappy with that.
Yeah, it looked like he was draped all over Corey Greenaway. Foul goes against Haladina. He's a real competitor, Charlie. You like to see him out there getting after it. Bob Sheldon here taking a drink. He's been doing a lot of yelling today, almost as much as us. Both of us. You, me, and Bob Sheldon, Charlie, do a lot of yakking during the game, I think.
I'm going to go have some tea after this game, Elliot, and rest my voice.
Soothe the vocal cords for the Elite Eight matchup tomorrow.
Again, that's between Amherst and the winner of this game, as Greenaway misses that with Feldman on the rebound. And you can catch that on Tufts JumboCast. Once again, Elliot, you'll be on the call for that game with our colleague Matt, correct?
That's right. You can find me right here tomorrow doing color commentary with Matt Massey-Phelps.
And a block there from Robert Lewis showing his defensive prowess, but that'll stick with Tariq Smith.
Tufts doing a nice job playing their game. We haven't seen Tom Pileski in a long time. Remember, he's got 3 fouls, Charlie. If he comes into the game, gets his 4th, he'd probably have to go sit right back down again. So I like what Coach Sheldon is doing, keeping him on the bench.
But I think if this game gets closer, we should see Tom Pileski sooner rather than later.
That's right.
And from 3, Tariq Smith, nothing but net for Tariq Smith, the guard. The Bronx native reining it in, and he's up to 20 points on the day. 18 points on the day.
Spatterford fouls Jernigan there. On the outside, Tufts is up to 8 fouls now. Jernigan will shoot a 1-and-1.
Jumbo foul number 3, Ryan Spatterford. That's his 3rd. And the team's 9th.
And here's Jernigan from the line. 9 fouls for both teams. Real stop and start second half, but still some great basketball on display from both sides. And Jernigan will miss that. So some relatively poor free throw shooting recently from the Wildcats, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a couple of 1-and-1s missed. That's not characteristic of them. They made 14 of 14 free throws down the stretch as Tariq Smith drives to the hoop, isn't able to get it.
Greenaway on the rebound.
Steal by Tufts, though. Here's Spatterford driving the lane. Greenaway goes for the block. He tips it away, but a foul call.
And they're 2 of 20 from the free throw line today, the Johnson and Wales Wildcats. And that 18 points would more than make up this deficit that they face. Spatterford cheering on, like trying to pump up the Jumbos, and the Jumbos respond from the benches.
Corey Greenaway fouls out of the game.
And that is huge, Elliot, wouldn't you say?
With 8 minutes remaining, I mean, I'm going to attribute this to bad coaching here. I mean, Jamie Benton, I guess you trust your veteran player to not give up a 5th foul like that, but.
And that's a long walk of shame for Greenaway, who is none too happy with his performance here.
Yeah, he's frustrated. He actually fouled out of their last game, Charlie, and Johnson and Wales was able to pull through with the victory. He's hoping the same thing happens today, but your team down in a game where you feel like you didn't play the way you were capable of, really tough for him to take a spot at the end of the bench now.
And so now, Elliot, it becomes the Tom Garrick show, doesn't it? He's going to have to pick up the slack. The other member of the Big Two for this Wildcats team.
Yeah, he's averaging 22 points a game.
He's still at 21. He hasn't scored in quite a bit.
Yeah, he's got to pick it up here. But I tell you, Charlie, Johnson and Wales, for them, it's all about fast break points, getting steals. Anyone on this team can contribute if they're playing the right kind of game. And right now, Tufts is doing a good job keeping it in half-court sets. They're not letting Johnson and Wales get out and run.
And so the people on the floor now for the Wildcats is Garrick. Here, Roker with the ball. Rebound by Spatterford. Lewis, Jernigan, and Lawson.
Tufts.
Feldman from three. And not the same amount of success there for Ethan Feldman as he experienced earlier in this game and last week, as Lewis makes the short bucket.
Notice the uptick in pace here, Charlie. All of a sudden, it's back and forth. This isn't what Tufts wants if they're going to hold on to this lead, although they have a 13-point lead right now without Tom Pileski in the game.
And we'll see immediate timeout. If you're just joining us, I'm Charlie Driver alongside Elliot Cobb, and boy, have we been treated to a great game of basketball so far. Johnson and Wales down 66 to Tufts 79, still well within a chance. However, their best player, Corey Greenaway, has fouled out of this game and fouled out with 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, you can say that again, Charlie. What a huge play in this game. You don't expect a guy to be in the game if he's got 4 fouls. I would have expected head coach Jamie Benton to take him out of the game here, but man, oh man, Corey Greenaway out of the game.
And
right
perhaps that's Benton's inexperience showing. This is his first time in the NCAA tournament. This is the first time the Johnson Wales has ever won in the NCAA tournament. And while it's his 12th season, it's the first time he's ever had his team nationally ranked. And they got all the way up to number 12, which is a real testament to his skills.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can't say enough about Corey Green. So much to bring Johnson and Wales to where they are now. This program loves him for it. They've never been to the Sweet 16 before, and it's because of players like him that they've been able to build a quality program and get to play in big games like this. So our hats off to Corey Greenaway for the way he's played this whole season, and today as well. He played pretty well despite having a tough first half.
And if you look on the court right now, the big man who's going to take this inbounds pass is none other than Tom Pileski back into the game for the Jumbos.
One thing to note here, Charlie, at this point in the first half, Johnson and Wales went on a big run. They were able to take the lead, actually, when they were down more than 10, so they're hoping to do the same thing right now.
But a big part of that success was Greenaway heating up where he had no points before then. He scored 7 points in that spell.
That's right, and he's out of the game, but they'll hope to get some turnovers on the press.
Here's Pileski now, almost loses it. Turns and shoots and gets the basket.
Man, Tom Pileski taking his time in the paint, just turning and firing.
And he whiffs there on that block, and that'll lead to 2 points.
Good finish by Tom Garrick there.
Tom Garrick over his season average now, 23 points in this game. Needs to watch himself. He's at 3 fouls. Ben Engvall.
10-second call here. Johnson and Wales gets a turnover on the press.
And that's, we were talking so much about how this Johnson Wales team plays with steals and with getting in your face right from the moment that you pass that inbounds pass in.
Yeah, Tufts just taking too much time there. But hey, Charlie, they're up 13. They can afford to do a little of that. What they can't afford to do is let Johnson and Wales build momentum here.
And we'll see a timeout on the floor here. And Johnson and Wales will try and build on this momentum that they've gotten recently. But Bob Sheldon will try and stem the tide of Wildcat points. I think we have an exciting 7 minutes left in this game, Elliot.
Yeah, you better believe it, Charlie. None of these teams is going to give up. This is the farthest either of them have been in the NCAA tournament. For Tufts in a decade, for Johnson and Wales ever. These fans aren't going to leave, whether they're Johnson and Wales fans or Tufts fans. It doesn't matter. They've seen some excellent basketball today in both games, Charlie.
That's very true.
Amherst, Babson, an excellent contest. Just a high level of play, a lot of intensity.
And obviously we'd like to congratulate Amherst on making it through to tomorrow and congratulate Babson on a very distinguished season yet again. That's a very strong basketball program.
Yeah, and I'd like to congratulate this young fan on his pump-up skills. Really knows how to get the crowd going. And he's got what looks to be like a press pass or something. I think that maybe he's an ESPN affiliate with his friend there. Is that ESPN reporting on the game, Charlie?
Maybe we should get him on the post-game show, Elliot.
I would love to hear their
and also
analysis.
have a post-game show.
I would love to hear their analysis.
And we're going to see the teams take the court yet again. But Jamie Benton wants one final word before that happens. This is a real critical moment for the Wildcats. They need to get a claw, if you'll excuse my bad pun, back in this game.
I'll excuse the bad pun, but just barely, Charlie. That was pretty heinous.
Here's Anthony Jernigan. Tom Garrick.
Trying to get Garrick open on the outside.
You won't need to get on the outside because you can just go up to the basket and do that, Elliot.
See, yeah, Tom Garrick using his length on that play, outreaching the shot blocker, Pileski.
There's Tom Pileski. Long pass over to Bang Engvall, who tries a three. And a little overshot. Almost tipped in by Clayton Roker there.
Nice.
Anthony Jernigan going all the way. A nice layout there from the guard.
Yeah, Jernigan going coast to coast. The young man from East Hartford, Connecticut, doing it all today on the dribble.
Stephen Halladini now for the Jumbos.
Bad situation for Tufts here. They're trapped in the corner.
Halladini. And he'll get pushed over there, and he'll fall over his teammate and co-captain Spadiford, but he'll go to the line.
Halladini, just such a solid player for the Jumbos. He's been there every game for them, Charlie. He's doing it on defense and making it happen on offense there. He just won't be denied, plays with a lot of heart. He's bandaged up there. He's got a little scratch on his arm, but he won't let it stop him.
He's more than doing it on offense, Elliot. With one of these two free throws going in for Stephen, he will make 20 points in a game in the NCAA tournament in a year where he also became the latest Jumbo to reach 1,000 points in his career.
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, he reached his career high in points with 26 against Skidmore, so he's really on a tear at this point in the season.
And there is his 20th point, and you see in the right side of your picture the Stephen Halladini head in the crowd that we've seen throughout this season.
Yeah, there it is. Hold it aloft with proud, young fella. He's always in that seat, too. He's got a favorite seat, maybe a superstition of his. There it is. You see Stephen Halladini's face just lurking behind that young man.
And you have to know, whenever Stephen Halladini does anything, that face is going up.
There it is. There's the younger Halladini there. He's mimicking Stephen's haircut. A little buzz there.
And meanwhile, as we talk about Stephen Halladini, he checks out of this game. He'll go to the bench to be replaced by Everett Dayton, who started this game.
Tom Pileski flailing at another block here. He hasn't got one of those in a while, although he's swinging wildly for them.
He doesn't need to get any more, Elliot. He already had 5 in the first half. Some fancy dribbling by Tariq Smith and a little behind the back layup. And Tariq Smith showcasing his skills here in Cousins Gymnasium.
He's submitting that to his And One mixtape audition as he ties up the ball here on defense. Tariq Smith winning the ball back to the Jumbos. The crowd's loving it.
He can do it on both ends. Tariq Smith goes down to one end, makes a really nice 2 points, and then goes and forces a jump ball on the other side.
That's right. We got some new players coming into the game for Johnson and Wales.
This is number 21, Mike Clark.
And Rudy Brito, number 14.
These are two people that we don't usually see in a game. It's not a Johnson and Wales team that usually plays with a deep bench.
Nope.
But Jamie Benton hoping to change some stuff up here, down 13 with 5.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, with Corey Greenaway sidelined, they got to change things up, getting some fresh legs in there.
Here's Ben Engvall. Pileski, full court press still on as always.
Got to get it across the timeline.
And that'll be another 10-second violation.
Timeout called by Tufts.
It's probably the better decision by Bob Sheldon and company to avoid another mistake resulting from that full court press.
That's right. Tufts has 3 timeouts to spare, doing a good job spending one there. Man, so in the last 2 minutes of this game, that's the point in the first half where we saw Johnson and Wales make a big run. The crowd got into it. They were racing all the way back and forth, making transition buckets, but they're not able to do it thus far in the second half. They need to get some steals and continue making big plays here if they're going to get the momentum back.
And they're now playing with 2 players on the court who don't really have a wealth of NCAA tournament experience. To be fair, none of these players really do, but neither Brito nor Clark played in their game last week in the round of 32.
That's right. That's one thing that's been so fun about watching today's games, Charlie. None of the players on the court have ever played in an NCAA tournament game before today. Neither of these programs have made the tournament since
Pileski gives it to Tariq Smith.
Mike Clark in the game now. He's going to shadow Tariq Smith here as he loses the ball, but a foul called. Mike Clark doing a nice job getting in the face of Tariq Smith.
And some not a fun thing to do. Tom Pileski, fueled by his favorite pregame meal, his mom's chicken parmesan, is a big man and a big presence on that Tufts court.
Man, that sounds pretty good right about that. That might be my favorite pregame meal, too.
Tom Pileski's
Tom
mother's
Pileski's
chicken parm.
mother's chicken parm. That sounds pretty darn good.
I don't know when I'll get to the Pileski house next, but I'll make sure to request it. As Tariq Smith makes a free throw, and Haladina comes into this game for Ryan Spataford. Tufts closing in on 90 points here. We haven't seen them do that in a little while. They got up to 88 last week. Looks like they're going to pass that with 5 minutes to go.
That's right. And it's do or die time now for the Wildcats, Charlie. They got to put together some scoring runs or they're going home empty.
Long three attempt from Lawson, but nothing on it. And that'll be a Jumbo's ball. And keep in mind, Elliot, as we said in the start of this game, Johnson and Wales are only allowing 77.6 points per game, but they've already let up more than around 10 points more than that.
Yeah, Tufts has done a nice job on offense today against the Johnson and Wales press.
Engvall.
They've played disciplined.
There's Haladina.
I like this from Tufts. No need to hustle on offense. Don't let Johnson and Wales pick up the pace.
Clark guarding Tariq Smith. There's Haladina guarded by the other substitute, Brito. And Haladina taking advantage of perhaps Brito's newness to get that mid-range jump.
Again.
And a steal there from Tariq Smith, and that'll be a Johnson and Wales ball. So we now have two Jumbos over 20 points. Tariq Smith's at 22, and Stephen Haladina's at 23, and we could see Tom Pileski join them if he goes on a run. Meanwhile,
right.
25 for Tom Garrick, 15 for Corey Greenaway when he fouled out, and 10 for Robert Lewis, really chipping in to keep this these tournament hopes alive for Johnson and Wales.
That's right. Look for Johnson and Wales to shooting from the outside, as has Garrick.
17-point gap here, 4 minutes and 23 seconds remaining. Tom Garrick now. Make that 27 points.
Is killing me over here. Acrobatic move. Goes up with the left. Is able to scoop it over Dr. J style. Beautiful play from the senior.
Is it getting hot in here, Elliot?
It's getting, it's already pretty hot in here.
Here's Everett Dayton for the Jumbos, guarded by Lawson. An interested two-sided defense call here. The cheerleaders and the fans not necessarily on the same page. As Ben Engvall loses that ball and Lawson intercepts it. Tom Garrick for the layup, and he'll shoot for another one.
Man, oh man, with his back against the wall, his team on the brink of losing their season, having the end short here today. Tom Garrick is trying to single-handedly bring them back. Two great drives to the hoop in the last two possessions.
And Tom Pileski now with that foul up to 4, so that could be the last we'll see of him for a while as a timeout is called, another media timeout.
Yeah, that could be big for Tufts here, although they still have the 13-point lead, Charlie, and that's going to be key. If you're Johnson and Wales, you need to be getting steals, you need to be getting 3 balls or quick 2s here. 4 minutes remaining. They can do it, Charlie. They score 90 points a game.
We've seen a lot of points come flying very quickly in this game, Elliot.
That's right. Johnson and Wales, once they get the momentum on their side, they start flying around the court making steals. Anything can happen. But if you're Tufts, you just got to take a deep breath and play your game the way you know how. But these cheerleaders, they'll be cheering on their fellas to go ahead and make some steals. It's good to see these cheerleading corps. They know how to smile for the camera, certainly. Thanks, ladies, for joining us here today. Bringing a lot of school spirit to the Cousins Gymnasium.
That's very true. School spirit on both sides.
Sort of upsetting. Too bad Tufts doesn't have a pep band or cheerleader or something like that. I think it would really liven up the
That's an interesting point, Elliot, because Tufts does have a pep band. They play it every football game, but I suppose that they've gone into hibernation for the winter and the spring and the summer.
Apparently. I don't know. You'd think they'd want to come out here, support the Jumbos basketball team, sit in this nice cozy gym, play some woodwind and brass tunes.
And Tom Garrick will shoot from the line here. And the chance of overrated are ringing in, but I don't necessarily know with this stat line whether that's true, Elliot. I would tend to disagree.
Well, I mean, Johnson and Wales has only lost 2 games all year. They're ranked 12th in the nation. Tufts is ranked 20th.
And they've still put up 76 points on a Jumbo's defense that has been playing better in recent weeks.
That's right.
Here's Tariq Smith. And the steal there almost by Mike Clark, but that'll be a foul called.
Yeah, that's frustrating if you're Mike Clark. You get your opportunity to come in late in the game. Johnson and Wales bench can't believe it.
Rudy Brito hit a chair there from the bench.
Johnson and Wales foul on number 21.
Feels like that's a big, big part.
That's a tough call. I mean, gosh, he's hustling out there. If you're a referee, you want to reward a guy who's using his feet to make plays. I guess he saw some contact with the arm there.
And Tariq Smith will shoot, to make this a 90-point outing for the Jumbos. And a 90-point outing it will be as he makes that free throw. First to 90 could be a big thing.
That's right. It's a race to 90, says the sports information director of Johnson and Wales.
And it looks like the Elephants have out-sprinted the Wildcats today.
That's right. A 14-point deficit is pretty tough to come back from. Now it's 15. But don't turn off your sets just yet, folks. Johnson and Wales only lost 2 games all year. And you want to talk about offensive firepower, they've got it here. Although Corey Greenaway, nation's leading scorer, career in his career on the bench.
He fouled out earlier in this game with 8 minutes to go. Now with 3 minutes to go, here is Jarrell Lawson from 3. And Tariq Smith will get that rebound pretty easily. Full court press on for the Wildcats.
Tufts doing a nice job breaking the press there. Calmly getting it to Pileski in the middle of the diamond. Timeout called by Haladinha.
And he had to do that. He was boxed out by 2 players. Tom Garrick and Anthony Jernigan both stopping Haladinha from having anything to do on the floor.
That's right. So whoever wins this game, folks, remember to join us tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. for the Elite 8 matchup between the Amherst Purple and White and one of these 2 teams. Whoever wins this game here, certainly it'll be an exciting matchup. If it's Johnson and Wales, you've got the full court pressure style up against Amherst, who plays classic NESCAC hoops, and then Tufts. If they're able to go on and win the game, certainly would pose a good matchup for Amherst. They split the season series. As we see one of the crow's nests of Cousins Gymnasium, all sorts of weird nooks for people to stand in.
That looked like the Tufts athletics director in the yellow tie up there, singing along to this catchy pop song.
That's right. Aren't they all catchy these days, Charlie? Man, just makes you want to dance.
They are engineered that way, Elliot.
That's right. They just know what we like, and they keep giving it to us over and over again.
And we'll see Haladinha take the ball. That's President Anthony Monaco of Tufts University. He's taking in some sporting action here, as he did both nights last week. And in a roundup from the women's side of the bracket for Tufts University, the Tufts women Jumbos won today, and the male Jumbos are hoping to join them right here.
Foul called on Pileski there, possibly. That would be his 4th.
That would be his 5th, actually.
It would be his 5th.
And it is, and that's Tom Pileski going to the bench for the remainder of this game. He's fouled out.
Listen to this ovation for the senior from Haverhill, Mass. This crowd has learned to love him. What a great story, Charlie. Tom Pileski came in. He was the Rookie of the Year in the NESCAC, and then his father had a heart failure. He was saved by doctors, but it turned out Tom Pileski, he found out he had an enlarged heart. He needed to go in for surgery. He thought his career was over, but the doctors were able to restore his heart, and now he's back playing better than ever. Just what a whirlwind of emotions for a player who's so talented to one day think he's never going to play again, to the next coming back to play in an exciting game like this. Just a great story. As we see Tom Garrick miss the first free throw. Down 15. The Wildcats need to take every chance they can get here as they bring full court pressure with Mike Clark.
Here's Ben Engvall, Stephen Haladinha. Long pass to Everett Dayton, and that'll break out of the Jumbos' home half.
Johnson and Wales already in the double bonus, so fouling doesn't do that much good. Tufts will get 2 shots. They need to get steals here.
There's Tariq Smith, and steals is what they do well. Obviously, Jarrell Lawson, as I've mentioned so many times before, 1st in the nation in steals with 3.69 per game. And he'll need to turn on that sneakiness here as Anthony Jernigan drives to the rim and gets it to go.
Nice lay-in from Jernigan. He's a small guy, but he can jump out of the gym. Foul called there. Mike Clark getting a little too physical. I like the way he plays, though. Mike Clark, you can tell he's a junkyard dog in there. He's like a Tony Allen type. As we see head coach of the Wildcats.
Jamie Benton a little unbelieving of the validity of that foul there. In the meantime, Tom Garrick is up to 30 points on the day. Still at 3 fouls, so we should see him for the rest of this game, unlike Pileski and Corey Greenaway.
That's right. Boy, I've really been impressed with the play of Tariq Smith today. Charlie, he's been a distributor today, passing the ball, but also driving to the hoop. He hit a big 3 in this second half. Just been doing a nice job handling the ball against pressure. When you're going up against a full court press, you need your point guard to be focused. Can't have turnovers from your floor general, or else it's going to be a long day. Tariq Smith has been up to the challenge today.
Time and time again, we've seen Tariq Smith score big points when it counts, going all the way back to the NESCAC tournament as he makes that second free throw, 50% success on that. Here's Anthony Jernigan. He'll drive yet again, and he'll score a layup yet again. So Jernigan heating up a bit here.
He can do it from the left, he can do it from the right. Nice play.
Here's Tariq Smith. Almost a steal there for Mike Clark. Aladini with it. And he'll find Ben Vol, who finds himself.
Waste time here if you're Tufts. Good job getting the ball out here. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Johnson and Wales choosing not to foul.
Long 3 attempt from Dayton, and he'll get fouled. Mike Clark jumping up on the block there.
Bob Sheldon will be happy with his guys today. Doing a nice job playing against a very good team. Got a hostile environment today. Their fans traveled really well.
And credit to the athletics department for actually bringing a bus filled with fans to Cousins Gymnasium today.
That's right.
Because it's really shown in the support that they've gotten. There are a few times where they've been louder than these Jumbo supporters.
That's right.
Which is really saying something for a 1,600-seat auditorium that is filled to the brim with Tufts students and alumni and parents, for that matter, as Dayton makes both of those.
Yeah, you better believe these Tufts fans will be here tomorrow as Tufts faces their rival Amherst. Should be a great contest. As I said, they split the season series. Tufts beat Amherst on this floor at the end of the regular season, but then lost to the purple and white in the NESCAC tournament. Johnson Wales won't foul here.
Here's Haladinia. It's Batterford letting the time run down here, about 1:10 left. They'll get double teamed and call a timeout.
Johnson Wales, though, not giving up. These guys have heart, Charlie. They've played hard all season. It's tough to see it come to an end like this, but you got to say they've given their all out there on the court today.
And regardless of whether it ends here or they form a miraculous comeback and extend their season to tomorrow, this is the best season that Johnson and Wales has ever had, and it's the best season that a GNEC team in the men's bracket has ever had.
That's right. Johnson and Wales will be proud of their season regardless of how today's score line turns out. It's just such a great thing for this team. Although they have 7 seniors who will be graduating, it'll be hard to see all these guys go. Corey Greenaway, Tom Garrick, and the rest doing a wonderful job bringing these Wildcats all the way into the Sweet 16. It's tough to see it end like this, but they've played valiantly today.
And nevertheless, they still have Anthony Jernigan, only a junior. He's really shown his skills today. They have Michael Kaiser still coming back as a sophomore, seeing if he can develop on his success and leadership in his junior year. A long 3 attempt from Haladinia from the edge. Doesn't even need the glass. He'll get that to go straight in. And Tufts is 3 points away from putting up a century mark here.
Sugar on top, Charlie. Steven Haladinia putting an exclamation point on this victory.
Open 3 missed by Mike Clark. Anthony Jernigan on the second chance. And he's really showing his skills here, as I just mentioned before. Gone on a very good run here.
Yeah, doing a nice job at the end of this game.
Foul on Haladinia by the looks of it.
Robert Lewis will foul.
And Haladinia will go to the line and shoot 2. You see the Tufts bench there? They're just waiting to jump right up out of their seats, aren't they, Elliot?
Yeah, done a nice job representing their school today, but boy, it didn't look like it was going to be this outcome. About a few minutes from the first halftime whistle, Charlie, Johnson and Wales had all around the court. They were able to get steals, transition layups.
And you just have to wait until this 45 seconds elapses, and this auditorium will burst into life.
That's right. We got a tweet here from S. Greenwood, 7,595, says, Tufts JumboCast. Tufts really showing what they're capable of tonight. Robos, baby.
I think that's Scott Greenwood, the goalkeeper for the men's soccer team, who last year won the NCAA tournament, and this season had a decent run, but didn't necessarily reach those heights again. But they get to watch on as the Jumbos here can reach the heights on the court.
That's right. Another foul. Haladino go to the line here.
And he'll try and put him up to 100.
Mike Clark with a nice put in on the last play. The little guy getting involved in the paint.
Mike Clark himself only going forward with the departure of Greenaway and Garrick, among others.
Yeah, Mike Clark, I like the way he's come out and competed today. Did a nice job pressuring Tufts defenders.
And it should be noted, Elliot, as Tufts passed the 100-point mark, TUPD is now lining the court to prevent any sort of floor stampede after this game.
Yeah, this will, I mean, obviously this is the biggest win in Cousin Tom Garrett coming out of the game. This will be his last game in a Johnson & Wales uniform. You got to hand it to the senior here today. He's played wonderfully from the first whistle right here to the last. He's given it his all. Again, he averages 22 points a game. You just can't say enough about the leadership of this senior.
And Haladini makes another. That'll put him up to 30 points on the night, and he'll come out to be replaced by Zach Roswald. So Stephen Haladini with a career night here where it counts in the biggest game that Tufts men's basketball has ever seen. So big that our scoreboard graphic can't even show the points. There's Everett Dayton. Tariq Smith, 15 seconds to go. And barring a foul, this might be it.
Yeah, nice job by both teams today. These Tufts fans will be excited to see their Jumbos advancing to the Elite Eight, Charlie, tomorrow night right here in Cousins Gymnasium.
And advance they do. The Tufts Jumbos win 101-85 over the Johnson & Wales University Wildcats to set up an Elite Eight matchup with their rival Amherst. The fans here loving what they see. This is the biggest game Cousins Gymnasium has seen in the men's bracket. They've seen success in the women's team who have reached back-to-back Final Fours, trying to make it 3 in a row. But this men's team is trying to make their own stamp on this gymnasium and forge some history of their own, and they're doing it here. Stephen Haladini with 30 points. That's a career high for him. Tariq Smith with 25 points, Tom Pileski with 16 before fouling out. Meanwhile, on the Johnson & Wales side, dominant performances by Tom Garrick, who scored 30 points, as we see here. Tom Garrick scoring 30 points, Corey Greenaway scoring 15 before fouling out with 8 minutes to go. And a valiant performance by both sides, but obviously basketball is a game that has a winner, Elliot. And at the end, Tufts University Jumbos have been that winner, and they'll have a date with the purple and white tomorrow right here at 7:30 on Tufts JumboCast. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, these Tufts players getting some well-deserved love from the fans here. Boy, it's not easy being a D3 athlete, Charlie. You really are a student athlete. You're in the classroom. You're skipping class to go to practice, waking up early, going to the weight room, and it's all paying off for these Tufts Jumbos. They get to play tomorrow night in the Elite Eight against the purple and white of Amherst, their longtime rival. Join us here on Tufts JumboCast. For all of us here, I'm Elliot Kopp alongside Charlie Driver. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks to all our crew and all our fans at home. Thanks and have a good night.